Why did that make two noises? Anyway, hello internet. I'm back. I am doing some more. I was gonna say Fortress Craft then. No, that's next month. Doing some more AstroTrucks. I have got some hopefully copyright-free music playing in the background. That's the worst thing about streaming. I can't listen to music I say I like. And let's see. I can't remember what state I'm on this server because I've got multiple characters on multiple servers now. But lots and lots and lots of code has been fixed as ever. If I hit back, yes, it does. Good. But I have not been idle. I have been continuing to work on this. There has been a lot of work. There always has been. Did a second state of play video. Lost mouse cursor. Found it again. Ah, Mr. S, how you doing, sir?
Quite fine. So AstroTrucks has been going forward?
AstroTrucks has been lots and lots and lots, like just constantly. New features, implementations, fixes. As I mentioned in the state of play video, it's also getting to the point now where I'm actually having to balance stuff. Like some stuff takes too long to unlock, some stuff is too expensive, some stuff isn't fast enough. So there's lots. So like here, there's an ExoBus for sale, which is my next vehicle, but it's 123,000. So it might actually be far too expensive. So I'm tweaking various things up and down. I did implement the possibility to do stuff as the colony, but I forgot what the cheat key is. Amazing. See if I can work out the key. What's it called? Colony edit? ATC render. So it's getting to the point now where I can play the game and I can say, oh, this gameplay feature doesn't work, which is really good. Okay, so if colony mode is on, what button is colony mode? Which it shouldn't let me turn on. Oh, of course, right on the D-pad. Oh. Let's see if I can, oops, oh bugger, I just started a server, never mind. But yeah, I might have to tweak the rate of cash earning. I mean, that's going to be a constant battle, which is just how some people will get lucky and make loads of money very quickly. Some people won't, and they will end up having to grind. But that's just one of those constant changes. I press, yeah, so that puts me to colony mode. But more importantly, that shouldn't let me do that. Oh, I can't read the message of the day either. Okay. So it's just, this is how we go. First bug.
He joined the server. If I have pressed exceed keys from my last time, maybe I'm carrying bad state over to the server.
No, that should all be fixed. That clients should not be able to enable ATC edit mode, and clients cannot see message of the day. So we actually have a message of the day support now, which is quite cool. So you could say, well, we can say whatever. No, as far as I know, there is one ongoing issue as a client, but you probably won't notice it. For some reason, the clients keep trying to delete remote fleet objects, but I can't work out why, and I haven't seen any issues with that. It just prints up the mirror going, this is stupid, but I don't know why. But to start the day, oh god, I got $14. Oh shoot. I was going to fix my spaceship, but I don't know if I've got enough money to fix it. Oh, it's a limo. Bugger. Do I have a There's another space. All right, I'm gonna fly it then. Oh no! I thought I'd fix that bug. God damn it! Right, hang on.
What up?
I put in a fix for the bug where you leave the ATC and it puts you right back into it. Apparently, I did not. I know what the issue is. I know exactly what it is. Is you leave the ship and then you go into the ATC, but then the other way around, and then your client goes. If your client doesn't receive the message from the server in time, it doesn't work. Yeah. So after 4 seconds, I was
the big ship.
I was not in a vehicle. Wait, what big ship?
The one you used for the trip.
Oh yes, yes. Let me just see if that's over on this monitor. So after the late night drama of last night, I think I've got the electrician came out and replaced a bit on my consumer unit, and it looks like it's all working. And I won't say we've come to an agreement, but at least we're kind of there. Okay, I don't seem to be able to reproduce the bug. Oh, maybe I wasn't in a spaceship. So if I get out of that spaceship... How do I get out of the spaceship? Why isn't that working?
How is Shulka in 2 different ships?
He is not. He is driving the Space Limo R1. The Tugger 2000 is owned by Shulka, but he's not flying it. Notice one's blue, one's pink. But... I can't get out of the ship for some reason.
There's a little man here. You are now at the ATC.
Yeah, but it says DJ Arcus is now in the ATC, but it still lists me as being in a ship. No, it's not. There you go. That was the issue. There's a display issue of some sort, but yeah, I have 2. It thinks I'm in 2 different.
It says you're in Sprocket. Oh. No, it's your ship though. Just like Shulka owns Tugger.
Yeah, hold on. How many ships do you think I'm in now?
3.
Yeah.
You're in Corbin's and Hackney.
Well, that's new.
Dear.
That's a new bug. But let me
How
leave it.
How long does that take for it to update itself?
Your internet's doing very badly today. If I quit the game and come back in, it should free up all those ships. Yeah, it's freed them up already. Oh, that's so okay.
That's not updating.
Your internet's really doing badly. Clients are no longer exiting ships.
Oh, that's why. Damn it.
So are you balancing now by feel or by math?
A bit of both. So I've got some notes on how long things take to unlock, and it's about right. The goal is to ship the game with enough gameplay, like time-wise, and then to shove in more content as time goes on. Right. So the other bug wasn't a bug. It was just that I wasn't in a spaceship. So when you try and fly not in a spaceship, it immediately chucks you back into the ATC. Oh shit, okay, now I have broken this. Hold on, is my pad plugged in?
I don't know.
For some reason, pressing the Y button does not toggle on and off the main breakers. Why not?
I don't know.
What's that? Main power toggle is hooked up to... Oh, it's been clear. It's lost the setting. Oh, Unity.
Oh dear.
That's not me. That's actually not my fault, because I wouldn't know how to clear it off the top of my head. So, yeah, for some reason, main power toggle and headlights toggle are no longer hooked up to anything. They should be hooked up to the brilliantly named North. So, to be platform agnostic, what Unity's done is that what I would call Y or triangle is referred to as the north button. What I would call A or X is the south button. Because obviously on a PlayStation, X is at the bottom, and on an Xbox, X is on the left. I don't know where the X is on the Nintendo, but yeah.
At the top.
Is it at the top? We should really settle on a standard for that.
We did.
No.
Everybody pick their own.
Yeah, but
you guys.
a standard.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm afraid you'll have to toggle the power by hand. That's fixed now, so it will be fixed for the next build. Oh, yeah, I was like, oh, it's working now, but obviously I just fixed it. I am smart. So yeah, as I was saying, we've got to the point now where we're actually fixing gameplay issues. So for example, you can now fix your spaceship.
Fancy.
Well, we'll see. Oh man, this ship is well broken. Oh, they're not very damaged, so that's good. So this might be a very, very gentle flight. Oh, that's okay. Let's fix that too. This is the problem when I haven't been playing it. I've implemented so much over the last few days, but I haven't been sitting down and playing it. So I've just noticed, for example, that this edging here is, yeah, that bit doesn't work. So that's now fixed.
Well, what's the breaker button?
1 and 2. 1 for breaker, 2 for lights. Sorry. Oh. No, I'm not. Actually, I know. No, fuck being sorry. That's Unity's fault. That's not my fault. It's for once genuinely low. I've no idea how that got cleared, but it weren't me. I'm really confused. By the way, it's now charging the battery. I'm so confused about how my solar panels work. So I told it to drain the battery to 25%. So it then put the the energy from the battery into my car. Cool. But I drained it very quickly. So I drained it at a very high drain rate. It's now charging the battery up to 25% again. Why are you doing that? What?
If you order it to keep at 25, then it's keep at 25.
But why would I want to keep it at 25? What's the point in having 25% battery just there? If the grid goes down, the battery does not take over. I don't have an island-based inverter, so I can't work out what the purpose is in having that. Also, the sun went down about an hour ago and it's still generating 1 watt of energy. That's amazing. If it's a bright
upgraded solars.
Well, no, if you have a brightly moonlit night, I should get 5 or 6 watts of energy.
That's pretty cool.
Which kind of amuses me.
Is there any case that one wants to radiate sunlight? Why not charge all the time?
Well, why not charge the battery all the time?
Yeah.
Well, because it's dark out, so I'm not getting any sun. That's the important bit. So right now it's charging my battery off the grid. I just don't know why. Like that means I can never use the bottom 25% of my battery. I don't know why you would do that. Because the lowest setting. Well, the lowest setting I can set it to is 25%. It's an LFP battery, lithium ferrous phosphate, so it doesn't mind. I can drain it to 100% to 0%. That's perfectly fine. I just don't understand why. But essentially, I have changed it so now during the day it will fill the battery up, and if I demand more current than solar can supply, it will use the battery, which is cool. It's like I've got Fortress Car Simulation in my loft.
Pretty cool.
But I just don't.
This new beeping that it does is horrible.
Yes, that means you're about to smack into a wall.
It went off when I was going through the tunnel for drop off. So.
Okay, but did you notice the red flashy light that synchronizes with it? Wow.
It's or I didn't notice if it's synchronized, but I definitely noticed the light.
Where was the light?
I didn't notice.
There's 4 lights. One on the left, one on the right, one on the top, one on the bottom. So think of it like a parking sensor. It's not the sound effect I want.
Yeah.
I know the sound effect I want. I need to work out what sound effect it is. But yeah, I tried to make it quite an annoying noise, but not too annoying.
It's quite horrible.
It is quite horrible, but that is the you are about to smack into something. Also, when that noise goes off, the physics is actively pushing you away from what you're doing. So that means there are boxes around your ship to push you away. Have you noticed the
new ship you put for Alpha? Cargo ship Alpha? Oh, that's the big ship, isn't it? No, it's got a...
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, Cargo ship Raven, you've adjusted its holding position.
I have not. You're incorrect. But what I was going to say is, have you noticed the cargo readout? Slightly better.
Yeah, it's much cleaner.
Yeah.
Nice.
Part of that is because I am... So I don't know if you can see, but the lower left, lower right, and the stats and the skills all have this very chunky box around them, which looks quite nice, but it's quite a chunky box. So I'm now using a much less chunky box.
Well, you're not using any box for the cargo.
That's a bug.
Ah.
I have a box, but it keeps disappearing, so I just need to fix that. I also noticed I just picked up a worker for the food processing cargo area, which also concerns me. One of the big changes this week is the AI flight code has been significantly rewritten. It is much, much, much better, I hope. So if you see AI doing something really stupid, please let me know, preferably with a little video. Uh-oh, my thrusters broke.
Mine are too.
Yeah, but
I took out a ship from the yard and it had already passengers. Those are some patient passengers.
You've played Transport Tycoon, sir. You know what it's like to have a passenger that gets on a train and then gets off the train 18 months later. Snowpiercer's got nothing on that. Yes, I've considered wiping the cargo when you take it back, but you could actually have, in theory, some rare components. Like you might work your way up to making rubidium crystals, because those, you use those to give your ship a double turbo after boost. And then if somebody logs out with it on their ship, you're going to be like, oh no, we've lost it.
The yard doesn't have its own inventory?
I hadn't considered... I could, in theory, empty ships into a dock that you could then fill up, but you also have the issue there. I could fly across the level, pick up a whole cargo full of stuff, and then log out. Obviously then teleporting a whole bunch of minerals all the way across the level. Oh, that bloody pop-in. I thought I'd fix it. I'm sure I fixed that pop-in like 10 times now. But the shadows are looking smooth.
So I had the very patient passengers.
Yes.
I dropped off some, and now I'm having a delivery bonus ticking down. So now it's in a hurry for some reason.
Well, it's set change. So when you pick up or deliver cargo, your delivery bonus gets reset. This is because, again, this is balanced through gameplay. Nothing we could do was making us have a cargo delivery. Like, you just couldn't do it. And if I make the number big, because if you have like 5 things and you've got 5 drop-offs, you just don't get any bonuses. So I've changed it a bit, but it's not as, how can I phrase it, it's not as important as you think. It's mostly just a 50% early delivery bonus rather than anything. I can't see a message for you having delivered something though.
Me?
No, I can see one's. I can see one's for you. Oh, that bloody shadow quality is pissing me the hell off.
Should we tell you if there are any NPC ships that are not moving?
No, that's fine. That means they're waiting for a free slot.
I
mean,
did some formation flying with a different NPC. He came up underneath me. I'm like, "Excuse me, sir." Whoa. And now he's stopped in front of me. Sir!
yeah.
My commute every day, all over again. God
I mean,
damn it.
I didn't say they'd be polite, but as long as they're not smashing into a wall repeatedly or spinning around the level at extreme velocity, which was happening. Okay, so I now have $50, but I have to have enough money, you see, to repair my hull and then my thrusters. My thrusters are on fumes here. So that's why I'm... what I probably should have done is got into a better ship, made some money, and then got into this ship. But I didn't think about that. Oh my word, this ship is... Oh, it's my coil's broken.
No.
Yeah, and I'm drifting towards the wall sideways. Cute. Oh, look at you repairing your ship.
Yeah.
Bugger, I've got things for mining ring, hydroponics, repair dot gamma. That looks like it. That might be a good plan. I've got plenty of fuel at least.
So is the delivery bonus balanced for like a straight delivery for one thing, and not like having it to be longer and then be over a whole haul of 10 items in different locations?
It's there's no balance. It doesn't work out how long it thinks you to take to get to places. It's nothing more complicated than after 30 seconds the bonus starts to tick down, and after, what do we choose to have? Was it 5 minutes, I believe? The bonus drops to 50% and sticks there.
Right.
I think that's right. But we played it all evening, and we just didn't get any bonuses. Like, I wasn't even close. Like, I picked up something, and I hammered it all the way across the level with sports on, and I was arriving with like 2% bonus. So I just rebalanced it. So essentially, it's a sliding scale where being quicker gets you more money. It might not be worth worrying about getting more money, though, because, I mean, you burn more fuel. You knacker your systems more. And you tend to smash
these ships are really expensive.
Yeah, I tweaked. They're less damaged is what's happened. So the ships you buy aren't quite so broken. And also, I also avoided, like, it doesn't put in, like, if you had a cargo ship that was 99% damage, it would come in as 1% of its value, which meant you could buy a really, really knackered ship. But
Yeah, but I saw a ship that was worth $500,000, so...
Oh, what was it? Cargo?
One of the cargo ships.
Yeah, you haven't flown the cargo van yet, have you?
Not yet.
Yeah, when you fly one, you'll realise why they're that price. The cargo van itself is a ridiculous amount of money, whereas the cargo transport, the big one, that really pulls in the cash. Like, really, really, really. I think I've just spotted an AI that's stuck.
How do you do the second
into the
help
repair
bar?
thing?
Sorry, Shaka, you say first.
The second help bar, how you repair that? I've repaired the first ones, but I'm
You
still
go-
full damage on main thruster, which annoys me.
Yeah, so you want... So I'll try and describe this because I'm trying to work out a way to describe it better. So the left-hand part of your bar is damage. So that means that you have damaged the system. The right-hand part of the bar is the wear. So think of the left-hand side of the bar as, for example, your tyre going flat, and the right-hand side of the bar is the tyre wearing out. So obviously you can fill up the tyre, and that's nice and easy. However, replacing the tyre is a lot more work. So I've referred to that as damage and components. So you've got no, I haven't. What did I call it? Wear? Bugger. This is the thing. It's very hard to find words that aren't synonyms. I mean, the short answer to your question is at the other side of the repair dock. But it's a little bit... tricky. What are you flying? Are you flying a collector? There's a collector in the repair dock. I don't know if it's Schalke or the AI got stuck.
AI got stuck. It's green, right?
I'm approaching the second repair dock.
It has the words on it, new parts. So what you're doing is you're refurbishing or possibly replacing the parts in the spaceship. So you're not repairing them. When you are, because you can 50% replace something, but that's just because otherwise I'd have to write a completely separate repair system.
Is there some economical considerations on repair versus refurnishing?
No, it's mostly a time thing. If you spend too long, if you don't repair your stuff, eventually, so if you don't replace your stuff, you don't refurbish it, eventually you'll have no health. You can't repair it. So essentially it's up to you. You can either keep it in tip-top condition or you can let it knacker itself up. Totes your decision. I have $50, so I'm hoping I get to just put a little bit of healing in, and then I'll drop off my stuff and come back. And the AI are really, really queued up. I said I'd implemented more AI, didn't I? They've overdone it.
The refurnishing is very chunky. It seems like it's not doing anything, but then it jumps a big percentage forward.
Sorry, what is, sorry?
I'm at the second repair dock.
It's exactly the same. It's repairing a different stat.
Well, the readouts are not what I expected.
Remember, it's repairing from the right. To be fair, I haven't actually repaired it yet, but it is. There you go. So you have replaced your main computer, RCS thrusters, main thrusters, energy cores, and cooling matrix.
Alright, I got just distracted that the ship health person is in numbers, but the others are in bars.
So what's in numbers?
The ship health first stat.
Yeah, that's because I've summed up all of your damage. I actually have a note. That's not showing your health, so that's a little bit confused. That will show your the wrong health bar. It shows the left hand side, not the right hand side. As I said, I need a way to codify this language a little bit better, because damage and health and repair and systems, it's all very interchangeable words. Okay, good.
It was how long the repair would take, but it doesn't show the time on the wait.
Shit, I'm out of cash.
Now I have repaired at the first dock, and I came to repair the second dock.
Well.
And then I have to repair at the first dock again.
Yeah, now you see, this is the thing. An experienced pilot would have replaced his parts first. But yes, I did exactly the same thing. You fly to one and go, oh, I need to replace the parts, fly off, and then go, damn it. Yes, I did literally.
Are the new parts not like mint condition? They're like blocking in with damaged parts.
As I said, unless I radically change all I've done is I have repurposed the current code, and it repairs from the right hand side, not the left. What it should do really is look at how damaged your hull is. Let's say it's 80% damage, and then replace the whole hull in one go. Whereas right now you can somehow replace 10% of your main computer. But I don't know whether or not it's worth me changing it. Does that make it more interesting or more fun? Because it's a bunch of code work. Because that's just not how the repair docs work. They do one tick of repair. I hope these AI aren't broken, but I don't think they are. But there are just lots of ships queued up, which does look cool, but it is possible I haven't got any errors, so I don't think so. Now I need to fly my ship in and repair it without knackering it, because I just repaired my hull, which costs money.
Schalke has finished repairing outer hull. Is there an inner hull?
No. Oh no. Oh, banged it. There is no inner hull, no, but I guess hull would be more accurate. That's the internal names, incidentally. So I actually refer to it as hull integrity. It should do, but I actually just say hull. I really want a bit of repair. Okay. God, this ship. I moved. So again, I forget. The more you use the throttle, the harder you use the throttle, the more likely to have to brake. So if your ship's really knackered, just use the throttle gently. So I just immediately smacked the throttle to full and it broke. So I have to baby it. Oh, I just hit another wall. God damn it. How much money have I got? $81. That is some money. Yes, it shouldn't say you finished repairing fuel. It should say, you know, have finished repairing fuel pump or fuel system. The cooling matrix, essentially, that gets damaged when you are doing something you shouldn't. Also, I haven't seen either of you, and I'm beginning to wonder if that's not working again.
I'm about to go into the repair dock.
Yeah, me too. I am at the repair dock. So I've had this before where, for some reason, you're just not transmitting it. Then again, the last time I thought that, it turned out you were there, and you were just stuck. But I thought I'd written code to fix that.
I'm gonna try to fly to you.
Well, I'm about to fly into the repair dock. I'm flying a taxi. No, I'm not. I'm flying a limo. But you've just left the repair dock, so... Can you see me then?
I did. Who?
Can anyone see? Well, I thought...
I think I should see you, but I don't.
Yeah.
Coming in the other way. I'm coming in the fuel side.
I'm literally repairing right now. Please have enough money to reply. Oh, my main thrusters is way down the list.
Going to the repair stuff.
But last time this happened, it turned out Schalke's ship was caught on something. I'm
You're not here. Yeah. Nobody's repairing.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Let's have a look. What are you flying, Schalke? You are flying the Space Limo R1, which can't type. Does not exist in the scene. Okay, and Tad is flying the R1 Hackney, which also that's a little bit.
So what are you flying?
I'm in the ATC at the moment because from here I can have an easier look. So for some reason, and I've had this before, this server has not told me about your ships.
Ships are amazing. Tastes like raisins and everything.
I'm just going to double check that because it looks like there might be a bug where it thinks my ship is weighing 8 kilograms. That's not right. Oh no, it's just been cut off.
Yeah, it doesn't know anything about you. Oh, my main computer's just completely gone. Awesome.
What is C code? Sometimes I put in debug code and I forgot what it is. You're on a let me just tweak the code a little to give myself a slightly better
Oh no, am I gonna have to download a new build?
No, because the issue is I'm a client, so at the beginning of every playtest session I start off as the client because then I can fix bugs and then hopefully we can then move on to the English. We can then move on to my server.
English breakfast.
RFO.
Breakfast.
Oh man, I've ended up watching a YouTuber and he just eats stuff and he's really funny. He's really interesting and holy shit, the amount he eats is insane. Like unbelievable amounts.
Like a typical American amount, or
no. So do you both know what poutine is?
I know of it. Yes.
Have you never had poutine?
No.
Oh my god,
Not
it's
that close to Canada.
no, it's amazing. So poutine is fries, chips with gravy and cheese on it. Okay, so this guy who is a British, it's a British guy. He went to the American poutine eating championship, and he ate. And I'll translate for Schalke. He ate 14 pounds of poutine in one sitting. That's 6.5 kilos in 10 minutes. That was the rules.
What the fuck?
He didn't win. He came 7th. The winner ate 26 pounds of poutine. That is 12 kilos of poutine in 10 minutes. These people are inhuman.
Potatoes.
Okay, I can't believe you've never had poutine though. It's so good.
I probably have, but I didn't know it was called that at the time.
Yeah, if you've had dirty fries, it's not a million miles away. Yeah,
cheesy potatoes.
No, it's not like cheesy potatoes. Good God. If there are any Canadians watching this, I do apologise. My friend, he's American. He doesn't know any better. Cheesy potatoes.
I have less excuse because it's right next door.
But yeah,
but I don't think I know of any restaurant around here that actually has poutine.
No, it's a new invention. It was invented in 1991, I think. Like, it's now become a completely late 1950s. I think it's something else. But it's a relatively new one. But it's really good. I've had proper poutine. You're like, I've also had proper dirty fries in the States, and I still feel fat from that.
We call that a Tuesday. No, that's Taco Tuesday. No, that's a Thursday then.
I feel a little bit bad, by the way, because I spent the whole day staring at my solar graph, my battery graph, and desperately trying to keep my power usage low. And then I just plugged in the Tesla, and it's now like, oh shit, never mind. It's just an insane amount compared to using a computer.
You've been playing the min-max game, and then you maxed it out.
Yeah, well, I haven't tried maxing it out yet, because I could obviously plug in the bike and turn on the oven and boil a kettle. The thing is, it is possible I could trip my main breaker, my 100 amp breaker, because if you just saturate everything in your house, you'll break that main one.
Not break it, but yeah, I know what you mean.
I don't know if it's a retrippable breaker, the 100 amp one.
Should be. It's a circuit breaker. That's the whole difference between a circuit breaker and a fuse.
The fuse, the 100 amp fuse to the grid. I think if that one pops, they come out and charge me 25 quid and go, what the hell were you doing? You're not supposed to pop that one.
I didn't do it on purpose. I'm having to fly so much more carefully now because the noise you made is so freaking annoying.
I actually toned it down for the initial noise, but that noise is to warn you, you are about to... But is it possible, this is the important thing, is it possible to fly the ship without setting it off?
Inside the loading and unloading areas, it's a little tricky.
Right, but so what I'm hearing is yes.
Yeah. Let me see. I just got through this one. Yeah, it's totally possible. Right, mining for on.
Okay, so I wrote some code that only sends you spaceships when you need them. So it doesn't just hammer every spaceship to you every tick, as it used to, and then it round robin the spaceships. Now what it does is it works out how far the spaceship is away and sends you the data only when it needs to. And I'm wondering if player spaceships are effectively an infinite distance away.
That would be less than ideal.
So I'm at mining processor Delta, passenger drop-off.
Oh.
There's a sign in the front. Are you going by American rules that it's fine to have in servitude if it's inmates that do the work?
Now that is because I'm using the icons from VR Space Station. That's the only icon I had. It's not the icon I want to use. It's just the only thing I've got.
So that's not world building.
I mean, we could say it's world building. Let's say it's world building. Why not? But yeah, I need to get a bunch of icons done.
Oh, that noise is horrible.
Stop doing it. Like, is it too horrible? Like, is
yes.
It? Yeah, okay. But is it doing its job? As in, can you look at the left and the right and go, like, have you?
This was a downward one.
So, but if you started
I was trying to land on an unloading dock, and it was just very not amused with my maneuvering to get close to the unloading dock.
Okay, I will reduce it in volume then. Bear in mind, I would like to point out, I made that sound effect from another sound effect, and I assure you, 1000%, the original sound effect was much, much, much worse.
No.
Yeah. So that should be layer cockpit. I'm still thinking about this issue. So this was in the oh, hold on. Why is the server not sending any generic physics updates? Sometimes I'm a little bit
strike.
Well, no, sometimes I'm a little bit too clever and I go, right, well, only send it when you need to. But that means it never sends it. So it should go, or if 60 seconds has passed because I'm just going to rejoin and see if that number goes up, because it might need to send me all physics objects. So
we're getting stuff from Choker.
There's a lot of physics objects in the game, like, just bits of debris flying around. They are synchronized. I'm wondering if when I join, there'll be a squirt of physics updates to me. There should be. No, okay. NAMPOQ. UMPO. So the code says the faster we're spinning, send it more often. The faster we're moving, send it more often. And oh, hold on a minute. Have I been too clever for my own good? What have I put? What number have I put in? I've said don't send more often than 4 times per second, which is fine. So max send is. Oh, I think I've been too clever.
Oh, that's horrible. So the Voron worker loading area is a little too tiny for the sensors.
Oh, no, really? No, that can't be right. That place is huge. Oh, wait, hold on. You mean the outside one, don't you?
The loading one, yes, not the unloading. Yes, that one's too tiny.
They should, be exactly the same. But I'm suspecting I'm going to need to make those a bit bigger because they're not bus-sized.
That should help.
Should there be some things that can only be served by taxis?
Maybe. I don't know. I hadn't.
That many places drop off people, though.
There are. There's the hydroponics, there's food processor, there's the repair dock, there's the warp gate, there's the Voron mining ring. That's 5. There's one for each. Oh, and the foundry, so 6. There's one for each process. What's the word? Thingy. One
Manufacturing.
Manufacturing, yeah.
Train.
Yeah. Actually, I don't, there's more than that because I can just read it here. Mining processor, foundry worker, repair dock, food processor, worker, food processor. Yeah, okay. I think we should.
Did you find the cargo one?
Well, there.
You've been trying to get rid of.
Quick Hop Taxis has 2 workers for the cargo area. We need to clear them down, like definitely cleared down, and then make sure they don't reappear.
Where is this?
Quick Hop Taxis, but you'll need a limo or a bus. You won't do it because. Oh, I don't know if you actually
Got to
see.
shuffle through them all.
You see the messages, by the way. Every 20 minutes, each dock changes where it's generating for. So every so often you'll see all the docks will say, "Hey, we're generating for X, Y, and Z." Why doesn't this work? It should send every. Now, what's send threshold? Send threshold is 2, so it should send every 20 seconds, no matter what. I'm also mildly concerned it appears. I know, because it's sendable players, yeah. Yeah, the generic physics update has just stopped sending anything. I'm pleased that TAD is not suffering, but the data rate looks quite high. I'm sending a lot of vehicle updates. I've sent 100,000 so far. But I actually look at the data rate. I'm sending slightly more than 1 megabyte a minute. Right, so let's not get distracted. Why the hell aren't you guys getting any updates? My guess is you'll never, ever, ever being sent that vehicle, because I wrote some code specifically to reduce the network load, so it's smartly sending them, and I did test it and it seemed to work, but you know. So I call I run over 8 vehicles, and I subtract that. Average vehicle payload is displayed somewhere. Like, I was really pleased. I genuinely made the data like a quarter of what it was, but I may have actually slightly overdone it. This is the game server. So this is the server active stream. Yeah, so the average vehicle payload is currently very high, but you know all those AI parked up near each other? That will break it, because they're near each other. So my guess is that the... Since the nearest ship...
Oh, my main computer is already wrecked.
Yeah, and that just breaks by using your ship, but it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Do I do this for all ships? Update fleet pressure. I don't skip AI ships. I do all fleet ships. So your ships, you guys' ships should be there. Where do I set? Oh, where do I set that? Oh, flight AI. Yeah. Okay. Comment used by threads set directly by interpolation. Okay, so that should be set. Oh, I will try one thing actually on the server while I'm there. I should be able to, and I can't show you, I should be able to select TAD ship and press B. Oh, yeah, I can see. Tad, have you got an asteroid to your left?
Left. No, I'm right in front of the food processor.
Might be tracking the wrong ship then.
R1 Hackney.
Are you in a taxi?
Yeah, the Hackney.
Can you just do a barrel roll for me? Oh, it works. Okay, that's good. So I'm watching you on the hollow map. You're heading. You're heading towards the repair dock, yeah?
Yes.
Holy shit, that looks cool.
Drop off.
So I've tested it a bit in VR. The map, the hollow map in VR is amazing. It's like you've just stepped into Star Wars. But yeah, I'm just looking at all the parked AI ships. There's a lot of them.
Yeah, there are.
Stream is seeing mainly code, so it's relying on your narration.
So, sorry, say that again?
The stream is looking at code.
Yes, I am. I'm looking at it. I can't show you that because I don't think that works on the client. I'm just trying to work out what I can change because this issue is in vehicle update, which is fine. The change I made recently was that. Hold on, what if the server's crashed in some way? No, it's still sending vehicle updates, damn it. So, my clue is something's wrong somewhere because the physics, the generic physics, it sends more data the more the physics objects are moving, you know, asteroids, etc., etc., etc. But if they're not moving, it just sends the data every 20 seconds. And it's not. That should queue an MPO. And then that should dequeue an MPO in update MPOs. And it has done it because it sent like lots. And the colony data has just sent some unstopped. This is why we test, by the way. But it should be sending every 20 seconds, every physics object should get a synchronization tick sent to everyone. And I don't know why. Incidentally, we have the right number of spaceships on the level, like AI ones. I just need to make more routes and more lanes so they don't jam up, but there's lots and lots and lots of ships. Oh, no, generic physics update just did a whole bunch. Oh, I reckon it does them. I bet you it does all 20 of them on the same frame.
Oh, dear.
So this means that net error should start as... That'd be why. That's why I wasn't spotting it, because it suddenly just does a whole chunk. And that's a bad thing for people like Tad, because that means that we send no data for 20 seconds and all of the data simultaneously rather than spreading it out.
It'll be fine.
It will be fine. Max, you were there last night to sort of follow up the many, many pages of drama. I now have 3 current options for the solar people, which is they have offered me a full refund of all my deposit and take everything away again, which kind of amazes me because that will lose them thousands of pounds. So I'm a bit surprised they offered that one. Or £1,200 off my bill, which is not brilliant, but is better than what they were initially offering. And I've had to fight for that.
Wow.
So I've been very nice, but I've also said to them, could you put the panels on my garage? Like, it's one of those, like, why am I coming back to you repeatedly with solutions? You should be going, well, sir, here are the 25 solutions you can do. Yeah, they are, they're offering a 50% discount. 15% discount.
Right.
But that...
This is to put on your garage roof?
Well, no, they're offering a 15% discount. If they say we'll put 4 panels on the garage and wire it in for the original quote, I'm happy with that, because right now it's getting to the point where, money aside, it's becoming a lot of ball ache. Like, I spent like 2 hours today trying to research other panels that would fit in their places, and it's like it very rapidly stops being efficient for me to do that because I'm not working while I'm doing these things.
Yes. And did you actually mention to them, look, and get these other solar panels, and would you fit them and so forth?
They said that doesn't work, and it doesn't work like that. And I'm like, I'm not going to argue with the lady on the phone. But so my inverter has 2 MTPPs. Is it MTPPs? No, MTTP. MTTP, yeah, which is stands for. No, it's not that. It's a thing. Basically, it's where you take the energy in. The MTTP is the opposite of PWM. It's a DC to DC thing. So my inverter's got 2 of these. Now, you can't mix and match within an MPPT, but I've got 2 and one's not used. So that other one could be a wind turbine. It could be any solar array, but it's one of those. What you mean is you don't do them and you don't want to do them. That's what they actually meant by it's not possible, I believe.
Yes, because they make it simple for themselves.
But yeah, well, they just basically
do their internal order intake mechanisms.
They do one panel, they do one inverter, they do one battery. It's not mix and match from a selection.
Oh dear.
Which is fine. So far though, until 5 o'clock, all of my power came off solar. Everything. Even with the array in the wrong place, even though the weather was horrible, I used no electricity, and that is also only starting at 9:30 in the morning because the electric tripped off during the night for reasons we are not going to go into. But they came around, they fixed that. That was the buzz bar was just shit in the consumer unit, so it just didn't like it. And the graph was great until the point where I plug the Tesla in, and then it's all gone to pot. It's all gone horrible now. And it's like, oh, shit. But what I've essentially done is I've just plugged into my own little petrol station outside. But so of course it's a lot of energy, but we'll see how it goes the next few days. So yeah, I think I'm hoping they say, oh yeah, we'll put that on the garage. I suspect they'll say there's not enough room, and I'll come back with, okay, how much room isn't there? Like, how close are we to not enough room? Because if I say to my neighbour, can I have a foot of your garage or 2 feet? And in exchange, you can charge your car off my plug, I'm sure he'll be absolutely fine with it. So I will, but I'm hoping that's the route we go down, because otherwise I've got the really awkward problem as I will need to find somebody else to install the solar and then hook it up to my inverter. And if anything goes wrong with either of those systems, both companies will blame the other one. And that's not a situation I want to be in. To be fair, they're pretty idiot-proof. The inverter lasts 10 years. The rest of the components will last probably 40. Like, I will replace them because they are shit and old long before there's anything wrong with them. Like, solar panels will be twice as good in 10 years, not 20 years' time. So, yeah, no actual solution, but I feel I've understated how cool, and I've decided to pay money for this. I can just sit there and just watch all these graphs just generate in real time. It's like playing a computer game with the electric in my house. And it shows me how much money I've saved, how much money I've made. Though I'm a bit confused because it says I've made 30 pence today via uploading nothing. And I'm like, I don't understand how. Like, there's two.
Yeah, there's a peculiarity where you, if you're generating electricity, you get paid for it regardless of whether it gets to the rest of the street or you consume it yourself.
I would assume that would just go on the export, but I see what you mean. Oh, okay. Yeah. I that would be, well, that's 30 pence. Like, if we actually, if we have a sun,
you can afford a polo.
Well, the thing is, the problem is, I'm 4 months from the winter solstice. This is still pretty much not the best part of the year, but it's still a good part of the year, and that's why 4 more panels on the garage I feel will be substantially better. It's one of those. I know it's not perfect. It's not ideal. They might get shade. But that's all I've got. So beggars can't be choosers and all that. And if that's an option, I'll go for it, because the garage gets a lot of sun. Not all the time, probably not before 10 in the morning. But the solar panels have only just stopped making power in the last 30 minutes, believe it or not. So it was making at 9:30, well after the sun's gone down, still making 2 watts somehow.
Sunlight, moonlight.
No, it's overcast. It's
Streetlights?
No,
Streetlights?
no, that's just sunlight bouncing off the clouds. Like there's enough ambient light out there for it to
Wow.
manage. I was like, oh wow, it's not a lot. I mean, but that will probably offset the LEDs in the battery.
Amazing.
Yeah, but so far,
The clock set wrong.
what? No,
The
like
clock set wrong.
clock. What? No. Like it's dark out. I can look, but it was making solar when it was dark. But that means it will make solar probably half an hour before the sun comes up. It will begin to pick up current. It's quite surprising. It's not like a film where the sunlight hits it, like the blazing sunlight and then everything kicks off.
Oh, that chap was supposed to come around and see me to give me information about and quote me on that. He's a no-show.
Oh, yeah, see, that's the problem I had. That's why I'm a little bit loath to take it away then, because I went through a lot of solar people, and I mean a lot, like 30, of which only one came round. All the rest were either online or just couldn't get it, or they wanted to sell me the panels with never having looked at the house. And I was like, yeah, I don't think so.
Especially with the peculiarities we now come across.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been even worse. Apparently, this is quite bad. So I was chatting with the electrician today, and he said that they got sent out to fit 19 panels. They could fit 4. Because it was because the thing is, these guys, there are middlemen out there that book solar installations. They take 10% of the money, and then obviously the hardware installers get say, please fit 19 panels at this address, and they're going, dude, because they're all using Google Earth to work out how big the roofs are and things, and it's just not
super inaccurate.
that inaccurate. Oh, it's not bad. I checked. I measured my garage roof, and then I went outside and measured it, and it's like, oh, it's not bad, but it's one of those, if there's any doubt, if you're within 20% of doubt, you've got to go and check.
Yes.
So I've got code here that says 4 times a second if it's a player ship and any other ship is nearby, else 2 hertz. But I do also have a comment that says to do check if this works.
You're onto yourself. You know.
But if it's an AI ship, then the worst case scenario should be, and clearly might not be, every 10 seconds. So every 10 seconds I should get an update for your ships. Unfortunately, to improve this, I am going to need to modify the server code, so that's annoying as hell.
Flying a full load of limo about once, and my main thruster is already at 0 HP.
Are you exceeding the speed limit?
This is important.
Might be.
Well,
take more damage.
Yeah.
If I cane my vehicle a long way past the speed limit, does it damage it? Out of curiosity, what's your cooling matrix damage?
Little.
A little, okay, my mate. So if you exceed the speed limit or drive with your handbrake on or other things, the cooling matrix... Actually, hold on, maybe if you fly along without much fuel, that should go up as well. That might not be a bad idea. But yeah, if you're hammering it everywhere, you're going to damage your thrusters. But that's okay, because that's a quick way of doing it, but not an efficient way of doing it. So you've got the 2 options. Right, so I don't care about those 2. And I know if it's a fleet ship. So I can see that... Oh, hold on, do I display those on the client? I bet I don't, because that would help. It doesn't necessarily mean that I have tuned things, but if you are just flying full throttle all the time, the thrusters will break somewhat quickly. But if you look left for me, what is your jury rigging and mechanical sympathy?
Jury rigging is 100.4%.
Okay, so basically nothing. Okay. So as you play the game more, you will earn as I said, more ability to fly ships naked. But you are a relatively low-level new player here. Again, it doesn't mean I've tuned it right, but I'm trying to encourage flying your ship like it's a spaceship. Which I feel is a fair thing to do in a spaceship game.
Speed is not very spaceship-like.
What isn't, sorry?
Having a max speed.
Yeah, it is. You imagine instead of a max speed, it's actually the cooling coefficient for your engines, and you're basically I could do it like that, but it's easy just to show your speed and light. Did you not notice your speed lit up in red, and I think it starts to flash as well?
I don't think it flashes, but
Does it not flash? But it does light up in red, going.
But it seemed very low velocity. So
Yes, it is. It is a lot lower.
quite slow.
Everything is balanced around the taxi. The taxi is fast. If I make faster ships, you'll just run out of level very, very quickly. Going, oh, well, level's so small, you should make it bigger. So I've hopefully sidestepped that a little bit by D and T. I've hopefully sidestepped that a little bit by making the ship slower. And hopefully as time goes on I will end up with more stuff around. Just realised I can tell if it's a player ship because the fleet ID is different. I think it was greater than 32,000. Right. Let me put player ships in green. Because then I can see whether or not my client knows about player ships.
Well, we're waiting.
I'm coding.
He's doing it live, folks.
Fuck it, we'll do it live. Okay, so if RFO...
there it is. Oh, that's cool. I finally saw the message.
Which
We're on worker arrival, now generating workers for repair.gamma.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's stored, but it's not transmitted, because it would be nice to be able to go back to the ATC and go, who is generating workers for here right now? But that doesn't yet. Well, it's one of those that what I'm doing is I'm obviously servicing what appears to be the most important requests and most critical ones. I mean, right now, I think not being able to see each other trumps literally everything.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a safe statement. Oops. LSB. So I'm just converting this to a string builder as well, because I've only recently started to appreciate how awesome string builders are, and they are a little bit new to me. And I keep falling into bad habits with building strings by hand rather than use the ultra efficient, ultra fast string builder. So I'm just converting this one because it's a lot of text to build. But I think last time we played, I can't remember if we could see each other.
Not on this server. On the other one, yes.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. But this is why you need 3 people to test, because you need a server, a client and another client. So it's can server see client, can client see server, can client see client, and that's almost always the killer, is client to client communications. What? Invalid expression term. Huh? Times. I'm really confused. What it's giving me a compiler error, and I don't know why. Elstra plus equals T plus the time since data sent to a string plus close bracket. But it's complaining that there's a slash in it. I'm like, well, there isn't.
Even if you really, really believe.
Well, it's exactly the same as the line above, only with a different... Let me put that variable in. Do you not want if I put that variable in? You're still wondering about that variable. Okay. And I've just copy-pasted that part. Let me just... Oh, now it's... Oh, wait, hold on. Now it's going to be about the previous line. It's one of those. Is it an error further up? Ah, there we go. The error is on the next line. Thanks, compiler. You don't... When you have an error, the error's on that line or before. In 999 times out of 1,000. Very rarely do I waste any, I say, CPU time glancing my eyes downwards. Right. I will rejoin the server because I've now changed it so the color of the clients the server is telling me about is now different. So I should be able to see if I've even heard about you guys, or whether or not the server's gone, no, you don't need to hear about them because they are... Okay. Player 0 D. Is it T 0 T and then a very, very, very big number? I may actually need to put that on a different set. What's the very big number? Okay, so this is... Okay, what have I done? Help me, internet. Append the ship name. And we don't have a fleet manager, do we? That's the data to debug the send. This is the data to debug the receive, because this is why I am a client. First of all, I can change my code without kicking you guys all off the server, which is important, but also I can introspect the data we're all being sent. Else we dot append, and as I said, I to the sort of previous playtesters, sometimes I don't need you to test the game. I don't need you to play it necessarily. I just need you to be a warm body generating data. Generating just packets coming my way and physics objects doing things, and because you don't have to go, oh, I'm going to try and visit every dock or do anything stupid. It's just purely you're there, you're playing the game, suddenly things go as they are tonight.
Just fixed my thrusters and it's already breaking again. Good lord.
How long ago is this the limo?
No, one of the taxis.
That's not changed. That's exactly as broken as it has been.
Yeah, I'm looking to see how bad it actually is. Yeah, I lost a lot of my main thruster all of a sudden. Alright.
Our keyboard console going to be supported.
Say it again?
I mean, yeah, but no. I mean, yeah, but don't. Because they're horrid.
Yeah, I guess because I'm on keyboard now, I'm always doing full thrust when I'm doing. Would I like save on the part damage if I did it?
No,
gently?
no, because I never, ever do that. I know I should do. Max, you're echoing. I never do. But I accelerate up to full speed and I coast. I don't continue to hammer past the speed limit because the cooling on the warp nacelles things. Yeah, cooling on the warp nacelles. That's the issue.
So the degree of acceleration is not a factor.
It is, but it's not that important a factor. See, do you see the throttle lever? It is smooth. You could tap it, but mostly it's exceeding the speed limit. Now, I'd like to point out I never exceed the speed limit. I just don't bother because it's massively inefficient on energy. So it might just be I haven't noticed the balance because I just don't do that.
How is it inefficient on energy?
Because when you are going over the speed limit, you're fighting against the speed limit. So it's
drag.
Sure, we'll call it drag. As I keep saying, I can't just write a realistic game because it's not a game. It's not fun at that point. You would literally hammer the throttle for half your journey, then flip around and brake for half your journey. It doesn't make for a good game experience. But unfortunately, realism doesn't. Kerbal Space Program has a massive fast forward button. That's not really going to work either. Why isn't this working?
Right. I'm trying to join you.
Oh, should just work. Just F2.
Nope.
What do you mean, no?
It took me a minute to connect.
Unless you're trying to join me by right-clicking. That might not work because I'm not in the game right now.
No, I hit F2.
Oh, no reason it shouldn't work.
No, I'm in.
Oh, you're in. Okay. That you're probably.
It takes a while.
You're probably.
What's that? It's got a 2D man.
Yeah, he's just there staring at you.
I've just worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in VR. I can tell. I can tell.
No VEH NNT question mark. No vehicle. No. What's that? I'm looking at the VR and there's like a vehicle just floating in the middle of the space. Weird.
Oh, you're looking at the holograms. Yes, that I haven't spent time yet. They're supposed to tell you the name of the ship and who's in them. Or what actually happens, It goes, I have no idea what ship this is. It's like, shut up.
Yes.
But yeah, it just doesn't know what ship it is. So that is...
Okay, fine.
But they look cool, don't they?
Yeah. I think they're just inside they're outside of the area that the hologram thing transmits on, but yeah, fine.
Yeah, I've made it a little bit big. Okay, so that's...
where am I? Base limit 1. You can't fly this.
I do...
7,000, that one.
I do definitely have an issue, though, because it keeps telling me my ship is currently weighing 8 kilograms, and that's not right. How much does my ship actually weigh? It weighs 8. Oh. Wait, really? Hang on, let me just try and fly it a second. As I mentioned earlier, I've broken the Y button. You'll need to press 1 and 2 yourself.
Right.
Oh, no, that is right. Yeah, because I divide that by 100. Okay, getting distracted. Right,
so I'm going to grab Corbin's taxi then.
Yeah. The main trick I found with playing in VR, by the way, is to take it calmly and gently. Do long, slow turns, and don't crash. Don't hammer it. Just gently do it. Because I've played it for quite a bit in VR, and I haven't put any comfort in yet, and it's actually been okay. I haven't tried it in VR with the motion platform yet, but I really do look forward to doing that.
I was thinking about the cable coming from my headset because it's sort of tight this room is, hanging it up off the sort of hook behind me because it's constantly sort of trying to slip down my back and it's just bloody irritating.
Yeah, it came with a little clip to hold the cable in place, but mine didn't last very long. So I've actually got cable ties taking the cable near the back of the head.
Yeah. And my clip's still there.
Yeah, mine just didn't. Mine didn't last anything.
But I need to, because it's right next to the wall. I need to clip it around the wall or something.
So what a lot of people do is, those things you get for your keys, like the retractable lanyards. You get 2 or 3 retractable lanyards, and you attach them onto your ceiling, so that it lifts the cable up. But also, if you bend down, it gives you, so it takes all the weight of the cable away, and that's actually quite a common solution. But it does mean obviously bolting cables into the ceiling just to play computer games, which is pretty hardcore.
I don't care.
Okay.
It's my house. You can always fix it with a bit of whatever. Let's look those up.
Yeah, you can buy them as a job lot of it's called zero gravity or anti-gravity VR setup, and it's just retractable lanyard thingies.
I'm trying to work out which what button is to get into the ship.
And to get in, it's the back on the pad is get in ship or backspace. Oh, do you mean fly ship or get in ship?
Fly ship.
Fly ship.
Fly ship.
Well, fly.
One on the left.
Yeah, the one on the left. Yeah, back. Yeah, those buttons have been back and start for as long as I can remember.
Yeah. The ship is still looking around with you, though. It's weird.
The ship is looking around with you.
When I tilt my head left and right, the ship moves left and right.
When you slide your head, when you translate your head left and right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
forward and back, everything's
but except sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, I think it's my headset.
If you press spacebar, what happens? Any difference?
No.
If you press, hold on. I think it's shift spacebar, but it might be control spacebar. 2 seconds. Yeah. Hold left shift and then hit spacebar. Then what happens?
Nothing.
Oh, because that sets the tracking mode. There are multiple tracking modes. So if you're holding shift, it puts it into device tracking. But yeah, I've had this issue a few times. But quite often, if you then go out to the VR menu, the overlay, that's not working either. So it usually happens. Right. Usually happens to me when it's a bit dark. But then I've also had it work in game, but not in the menus, and vice versa. It's not.
Well, last time we decided it was my headset that was mucking about.
I think you rebooted and it worked. But yeah, that's a pain. That's a pain because obviously what you want is you want to be able to move your head closer to stuff.
Yes. So I look around the cockpit without all sort of jiggling. It's working okay. Yeah,
that means you can't put your head close to the screens. But the cockpits...
I can read them. I'm pretty close to them anyway.
But what blew me away is the cockpit's amazing in VR. Suddenly you're like, oh my gosh, I can read all of the panels because you can just glance your head around.
Yes. I'm a bit too far forward, actually.
Yeah, spacebar should recenter, but it's not quite perfect.
Yeah.
But I'm
gonna reboot because that's really, really annoying. I mean, if it is my fault, that's
well, I mean, first of all, because it's obviously good to get data. If you hit the menu button, either the Steam menu or the WMR menu, does it work in there?
How do I get those up without the controllers being online?
What happens if you hit the Xbox button on the pad? What does that bring up?
The Xbox
menu. There you go. That brings up the WMR menu.
Yeah, I thought it might.
UMR? Oh.
Windows.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when that's fully deprecated, can we just get Steam to deal with all that?
Well, you can already. I don't use WMR.
Yeah, but it comes up regardless, doesn't it? You have a lot of choice about it. It is coming up. You know?
Did you set Steam
Yes.
as? Oh yeah. Okay. All you've got left is the WMR menu. That's about it. It doesn't do anything else at that point. But yeah, either get on with it and fix it and make it cool, or just sack it off.
Yeah. But anybody that's hot, got half a. Well, I suppose it's for those that don't use VR in Steam, but
What? All 6 of them? Yeah.
yeah. Really nice building, isn't it?
Which one?
Oh, there's the Spaceman. Oh, Spaceman.
Yeah, I'm planning on putting in an achievement to find all the spacemen, and then I will name each spaceman after a Patreon.
Oh, that looks weird. So I'm in my taxi, not doing anything, powers off, just got into it. I'm looking over to my right, and there's a taxi over there with flashing green and red lights and white lights on it. Unfortunately, there appear to be more flashing lights than more taxis.
Oh, I think there's a set of flashlights with no taxi because I moved to taxiway and left the lights behind. But notice, by the way, in VR, you notice that. Like that has been there for like 2 months. You get in VR, you're like, I can see that wrong, that's 6 inches off. VR is something else, it really is.
It is amazing, yeah. I mean, the walls are dirty. I mean, what happened to the walls?
I made them dirty because it looks cool. Yeah, I have run it on the motion platform, and that is a big pile of awesome. Like, I was only just supposed to test it worked, and I spent nearly an hour flying around going, oh my god, this is so good. But I haven't tried VR plus motion platform. That'll be a different level of coolness.
Yeah.
So I've just implemented it, so it's now going to list all the other ships that are players, and then all the ships that aren't players. Ah! I don't know about any player ships. There's your problem. Why not?
Oh, right.
And that means I'm not being sent them. No, that can't be right. It's not that, No, that can't be right. The problem is, if I put a breakpoint in, the moment I start debugging, I get kicked off the server. Because obviously I've just stopped talking back to the server, and it'd be like, oh no, something's gone wrong. But I guess I'm going to have to.
I've just jumped out anyway.
No. Like, I'm a client. So tonight I'm a client, and I always try and be a client as much as I can because it works on the client. I know it's working on the server, and right now we can't see each other, and I'm not sure why.
Okay, now I found the Steam menu.
Is it moving?
It's not doing the thing your ship was doing.
So
it's staying static, and I can move towards it and move away from it.
Right. So that means the tracking is working, but why it doesn't work in game? Sometimes, like, it definitely works, and it definitely works with the G2. Did you get it to work before? I think you did. I can't remember.
I think we had to reboot. I'm going to reboot. No, it won't hurt. Back in the
Alright. Right, so I'm going to have to debug it. I'm about to get kicked out, so I get one chance to debug all of these things. So, I know about 47 ships. I have no player ships in that list, not a single one. So, I'm not being told about any player ships. Why not? No point debugging.
Garbage ships.
That's So Remote Fleet Manager receives its updates from Get Vehicle by ID, which happens on the client thread. Monday morning. Note, work out if I really need to send a UN-64 here constantly. Because I do actually send who owns the ships. And I never used to. But I'm not sure there's actually any point. Like for every time I get an update for every single ship, I say, this ship belongs to this person. But I probably only need to do it the once. I think it's what I said. I think that players... No, hold on. That can't be right. That can't be right. I keep thinking this. So, I now only send ships if I need to. So, if they are greater than 8 kilometers away from any other ship, I clamp it to 8 kilometers. If they are 2 kilometers away from any ship, I send the data every 5 seconds. So if anything goes wrong, it definitely sends it every 5 seconds. Else, if it's a player ship, I either send it 4 times or twice a second. Else, I calculate a sliding distance between infinitely often and infinitely never, and then clamp it at 10 seconds. So I'm wondering if I'm just not incrementing time since data sent. Say I am. Right, I'm going to run a server on this computer. Hope it doesn't break everything. Because I put extra data in here, and I should be able to see quite quickly if my ship is incrementing its data. Incidentally, I have slightly changed one thing. When you press F2, the first thing it does is it gets your friends list, finds friends playing the game, finds friends with an open game, and joins it automatically. Because even with the amount of games we played, the amount of times I have 2 friends playing a game, you can count on one hand. Basically, if your mate's playing a game and you hit play game with friends, it's usually just the one choice. Okay, so... hold on. So this ship is... Okay, I was right. This ship is 830 meters from the nearest AI ship, which I'm not sure I agree with, but sure. But its time is not increasing. Why is its time not increasing? Oh, bollocks. Well, that will only affect this ship. Ah. Bugger. In fact, yeah, okay. Well, fixed. I was, well, on the bright side, I deduced what the bug was almost immediately. On the downside, it's taken me an hour and a half to actually resolve it. So, I don't know what network AI are. Network AI is... This means we're a client and rendering nogs. Okay, maybe. But I am actually quite pleased with the change when it works, because it should mean that when a ship is next to you, so if you guys are flying in formation, it will update them really quickly and really smoothly, and as they move further away, it will send less and less and less updates. I'm pretty sure that's what the issue was. Or at least that's part of the issue. That's a bit sad, because we won't see each other tonight. Yeah, cool. So now my ship is sending updates every 1.5, 1.6 seconds. And then the other ships, some of the ships are very, very close. They're sending them more often. But worst case scenario is only as often as they were sending it before I put the code in. Well, that's a good fix, I suppose. Let me commit, because it's always good to commit when you do a fix. I know a guy who got fired because he didn't bother committing for a couple of weeks, and then his computer broke and he lost all his work. So I back my stuff up constantly. The cloud.
Yeah.
Which is obviously
1 is none, 2 is 1.
What?
1 is none, 2 is 1.
Well, that's just because computer programs can't count properly.
No, as in there were backups. Just making a copy isn't a backup.
Oh no, exactly. Yes, I mean, obviously, I shove it up onto a subversion server, so every single version is stored, and it's also on several computers. So even if my ISP blew up, I wouldn't have lost everything. Yes, a silent. It's a very fancy name for what did I call them? Retractable lanyard. But yeah, you can do those, and they hold the cable up, so if you don't like the weight of the cable, it will take some of the weight of the cable off.
Put it in the VR channel.
Yes, but yeah, that's exactly right. They are a bit expensive, but it does come with everything you need. But I mean, I've noticed
14 quid.
yeah, but if you just buy, instead of buying VR mounts, if you buy retractable lanyards, you can get them all for like £3. But obviously they're a bit prettier, they're a bit white, and they come with little clips and things.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm not going to fly this ship because I am skint as hell. I need to fix the bug with coming in out. Oh, that'd be a server bug. Okay, I can't fix that. So I have this a cargo ship, but I can't drive it because I am too low a level. Oh, see, there's a bug. It says there's 2 pages of ships and there's 1. And then when I get to the last one, it shows the page. That's annoying, but minor. Well, I guess I'll have to fly Sucket because I can't afford to buy the ExoBus. And the colony can't afford to buy the ExoBus either. And I have $1, so I can't afford to buy anything. Huh. Okay, I need to fix this. DJ Arcus is now in the ATC. Cool, so I'm not in a vehicle. Click. DJ Arcus is now in the ATC. What? DJ Arcus attempt to get out of Sucket. DJ Arcus requesting server to get out of Sucket. DJ Arcus exiting current ship Sucket. I regret naming my ship. It says DJ Arcus is now in the ATC. But what haven't I done? Because it's showing current ship. Oh. It says current ship if the ship we're driving is driver ID. Client blah was flying already flying I think I'm an idiot.
I doubt that.
So I'm just going to check. Yeah, I absolutely did. So if you're when you press the button to get into a ship, I put you in the ship. Fine. If you then try and get in the ship again, you just get out the ship. So what I did is I said, you know, if the player requests to fly the ship, as opposed to selling it or buying it. If they're already in a ship, I say, right ho, get out the ship. So I then release the ship. I set the ship to not having a driver. I mark it as dirty. I then release the ship. And then I scroll down a little bit, and then I probably try and get back in the ship again. Like, the top of the function, get out the ship. Bottom of the function, get back in the ship.
Oops.
Okay, so are we attempting to leave our current ship? Or LB leaving ship is that means the ship data will be null, or can't be null, because it'll be equals LRPG dot current ship ID is L action, L player, vehicle ID. What's this set? Okay. Yeah. So if we're currently flying this ship, then I need to set leaving ship. Okay, so if leaving ship, do not immediately attempt to get back in. Else, release the ship. Right. So this shouldn't say this much. This should say has abandoned all ships, question mark, like that's a bad thing. This one should say all you've got in the ATC.
What was his face roll company names on Amazon? Sorry, keyboard roll.
Keyboard
face roll. Keyboard face roll. What do you call it?
Start again.
Well, these company names, basically someone's just mashed the keyboard.
No, they're the literal translation of a Chinese company quite often. Like Wulong Z Exogadrong. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Have like 5 or 6 different, the same picture with different company names saying the same thing. I'm like, what?
Yep. Yes, I'm afraid. Well, I mean, to be fair, I've ordered a lot of stuff from China. It's been just fine, but I know exactly what you mean. Like earlier, I mentioned this. I was looking, as I said, I've got 2 MTTPs on my inverter, and I could put solar panels on, or I could put a wind turbine on. I thought, I'll have a look. Like Amazon sell wind turbines for 300 quid. I was like, I'll have a look, and looked at this, the stats, and all the reviews go, this thing gets nowhere near. It promises 9,000 watts, but what it means is 9,000 watts a day, not 9,000 watts at any given period. This is, it means 9 kilowatt hours, not 9,000 watts right now. But the best thing is, it listed a bunch of stats, and one of the things it was engine 4-stroke, and I was like, okay.
One way getting it to go round.
Yeah, just put petrol in, and it will generate wind energy.
You know the toys you used to make Lego. I just like, I did it when I was a kid.
Oh yes.
Lego windmills and things. It's like, how do you make it work? You plug in a battery into the Lego motor, Or you had the wind-up one, if you've heard the wind-up one.
Oh yeah, I did, yeah.
Managed to wreck that. I'm thinking these ceiling clips are a bit overkill for what I need. I don't really need them. I just want to plug them to the ceiling.
I mean, the thing about the clips, don't forget, is they do stretch, and having had these up the arcade, I can tell you, if you get the cheap ones, they're not quite as, they don't last very long, we found. Like they get stuck at full length. I mean, what it might just be, you might just want a hook on the wall behind you, a couple of feet above you when you stand up, so you just hook the cable there. My one, what I've done is I've got the microphone standing on my computer, so the VR cable hooks across that, because it just takes the weight off of dropping, 5'10" to the floor. It drops 2 feet to there. So it does make a difference, because that cable is heavy, and obviously on the VR rig, on the motion rig, the cable just goes onto the chair.
Mine's just sort of sprawled on the floor.
Yeah. But yeah, do you know what I mean? If you had a hook on the wall behind you,
Yes.
not a tight hook, but a hook high up, you'd hook.
So it's just like a coat hook or something I can stick it on.
Yeah, or get a as I say, get a lanyard.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to take Corbin's taxi out while Max is buying things off the internet, and just get some money because I don't have enough money to fly my limo to someone to get it fixed. Oh, the taxi is so fast. Shark, if you don't like how the limo flies, I highly recommend you do never, ever, ever buy or fly the bus. Because I drove it for a bit and I was talking about this and I said that my biggest complaint is it drives like a bus. It carries a lot of passengers, but it takes significant time to get up to speed. And to brake and to turn. So, it flies like a bus. Oh my god, I forgot the taxi does 35 meters per second. Luxury. Unity have now acknowledged the decal issue as an actual issue and it is being resolved. I didn't respond with what I wanted to, which was, how the fuck did you not notice this, guys? Has no one else shipped a game with decals in it? Like,
you didn't go with something really psychic like, hurrah, finally!
Well, it was... The thing is, I was, under the impression it might be my fault. It might be something I've done.
Something you've done, yeah.
Yeah. But it wasn't. This is just literally... I can create some decals. So I quite like that warning noise. It makes me shut up and not bang into things. But yeah, I might need to make the docks a little bigger. Make it a little bit less...
Where is the food processor?
It is the big boring building.
It's the Warp Gate Alpha.
It's between Warpgate Alpha and the Quick Hop taxis. It is by the repair exit from the repair dock. It's actually, hold on, Shaka. Are you telling me you didn't watch the State of Play video? Wow.
I guess I got
wow.
And I looked at the map and it wasn't.
Yeah. I think there's an updated version on the map. I believe there was one done. But yeah, it's the big boring building just to the left of Warpgate Alpha. It looks a little bit like an office block someone scaled up to be really big. And I just noticed an AI smash at very high speeds into a rock. World building. I guess the AI don't...
You're going to put in a tow truck for?
Well, I said the AI don't need to be perfect. They just need to not be complete idiots. I mean, I played Halo. Like, the concept of what we used to think of as complicated AI, like Halo was groundbreaking. You play it, and monsters that were 3 foot wide would hide behind pillars that were 2 foot wide. And you're like, well, I'll just snipe you in the shoulder, mate. I don't know why you thought this was a good place to hide. And at the time, that was, state-of-the-art AI. So I'm not going to try and, beat Halo. I will do my best. I agree that sound effect is annoying, Tad, but it does really make me realise I'm just about to smack into something. Which is its purpose, obviously. Maybe I need to give you like half a second. Actually, that's probably not a bad idea. Let me just park up a sec. Is if you're in the box for half, so give you half a second of leeway. So if you're just glancing it won't go beep 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 beep. Just make it.
The idea like the sort of collision sensors on cars.
Exactly. Yes, it works quite well. Like, it only works as a taxi, and it lights up a light in the right quadrant, but you do realise quite quickly, like, oh, I was closer to the ground than I thought. And I think that's the issue, is I need to train you. Don't keep driving into the walls. The bounce procs warning by half a second or so. Would that improve it, do you think, Tad? Or just making all the docks bigger? Or, learn to fly, Matt. Learn to fly.
All of the above.
So
those all sound like really good options.
So
you're gonna make the docks bigger anyway.
I am.
So that gets rid of 90% of it.
Yeah, but then again, you are going to fly the bus in there. So that will have one. So it's important to note that when that procs warning is going off, it is actively pushing you in the other direction. So that's what it's hooked up to. So if it's going beep, 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 beep from below, you're being pushed upwards. And I'd just like to point out, I docked perfectly with no beeps.
Wow.
But yeah, I've made it quieter as well. Okay, so if I go left, Dinosaur Fire Chief, like left and right, you do have to get really quite close. And that's pan left. Oh, that's quite cool. It's actually pan. And it is push it. Oh, I've got the handbrake. Maybe it needs to push me in a bit harder. You can see it's pushing me away from that. And on the right, I think the left and the right are okay. Like, you really have to be way off course, but I agree, it's a bit tight up and above and below. That's quite cool. It should probably push a little harder though. To be fair, I treat it a little bit like the proximity warning on my car, which is like, yeah, I know, shut up, yes, I know, stop it. Which is, happens quite a lot when you're driving very, very near other cars or other things.
Oh, typical British driving.
Well, no, bear in mind our roads are so small that genuinely
That's
true.
what I'm saying.
Genuinely true. I have known of not just Americans but European drivers who have driven down Cornish roads going, these are really quite good, and then you have to point out the road they're driving on is 2 lanes, not 1, and the response is kind of, what the fuck? So yeah, you have no idea what the lanes are like in this country. There's, what do you reckon, Max, 4 or 5 feet between articulated lorries on, class 8 trucks on a motorway? There's not a lot. It's really not, is it?
It's not that much. Well,
it's
it seems like 3 feet when I'm driving past one.
Yeah, but I mean, it's probably 4 feet for you and 2 feet for them. Yeah, it's very, very tight. But I don't know.
Just far enough to throw a packet of biscuits.
Well, yeah, let's not do that. It's close enough so that the Tesla sometimes goes, that truck is in our, well, not that truck is in our lane, but we're very close to that truck. Oh my god, and it panics a little bit, even though that's how far they are. Interestingly, Tesla they've now launched the Semi, the Class 8 articulated lorry, and they're reckoning if you charge it from your depot overnight, whatever, you can save $200,000 a year per vehicle in fuel. It's like, holy, that is what makes manufacturers adopt big vehicles, is electric vehicles. Is for every 5 trucks you drive, you're saving $1 million. That $1 million buys you 2 more free trucks.
Yeah.
And no gearbox to replace, and no clutch, and no transmission, and all the other bits that break.
Wear out.
Yeah, I'm sure Tad can name some more bits that break.
Yeah, probably.
Head gasket.
Yeah, as a Subaru owner, those aren't words I want to hear.
Yeah, no.
Because it's not.
I have to hear it.
Well, it's not that Subarus blow head gaskets a lot. That's just not true. What is true is it's very, very difficult because of the way the engine is designed. To replace the head gasket is a nightmare. So if you take the engine apart for any reason, you replace the head gasket, because it is, as I've replaced my head gasket. So I said it was 500 quid to take the engine out and crack it apart, £1 for the head gasket, and £500 to put it all back together. I also had the spigot bearing done, which was a similar thing, and they said you can have the spigot bearing. It's about £2. Here's your bill. It's £1,000.
Water pump?
Yep.
Water pump's fine on the Impreza. That's an easy one.
Yeah. That's easy for everybody. It's part of the serpentine belt.
That's why I like the Insignia. It's got quite easy access to all the stuff. A lot of mechanics always say how easy it is to work on, so I'm quite happy. The thing with this, I'm looking at something else now.
I'm just looking it up because I don't disbelieve you. Every vehicle's got something. Everything.
Yeah,
There's
sure,
one thing.
yeah.
So when I used to take my Impreza in to get the wheels tracked, they would genuinely play rock, paper, scissors for who got to do it because it's fucking awful. But yeah, I'm sure there's something. Every car, there's, when you make the head gasket easy to get at, you make the blah, 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 blah more difficult. There's always a trade-off.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I don't know what it is. I don't know that one. Sorry, what were you saying? You said you were looking at something random on the internet.
Yes. Let me send you a link.
Incidentally, online with last night's conversation, I still cannot account for between 250 and 300 watts of draw in my house. I have no idea what it is. I literally can't work it out. Like, to the point where I think I might start turning off circuit breakers and see when it drops to try and narrow it down to what floor it's on.
Well, if you're lucky, on mine I've got circuit breakers which do halves of the building.
Yeah, I've got I've got sockets and lights. But the thing is, 250 watts is a lot, assuming it's one thing and not 20 small things.
Yes.
Like, if I turn all the lights on in my house, it wouldn't use up 250. Actually, it might do because I've got some big ones. But, I think I've got a 75 watt LED. So, but I'd know if that was on.
Yes.
My neighbours know when that one's on. But, I mean, for example, that could be something like a partial short in an outdoor light socket. That sort or earth leakage, that sort of thing. But I'm struggling to narrow it down. So, yeah, I might have to do that. Turn off all of the breakers, make sure the power usage goes off, and then turn them on one by one and see if I can work out what's going on. As I said, I'm open to any suggestions, because I've checked the obvious. The immersion heater wasn't on. The microwave wasn't on. Like, the cooker was on, but, the clock on the cooker, the clock on the microwave was on. The fridge and freezer were off, and it's like, what the hell else have I got in my house that is there? I've got some fast chargers, but one of them will pull 160 watts, but I would be charging either my VR headset or my Steam Deck, it's not something that I would forget I'd notice. Suggestions welcome, internet.
That thing happened.
Yes.
I was having speed and went to ATC and then went back to ship and had velocity and into the yard.
White velocity on ATC. So to be fair, you press the cheat button that says on your screen, please don't do this, you are cheating, but I'll let you for the minute because we're testing. That's what you did, yeah, just to be clear.
Oh. How are you supposed to do it legit?
There is a building in about the middle of the level, and if you park in there and then press backspace, it doesn't give you the message. That's the only difference. It doesn't do anything else. But there is a place that you're supposed to do it. But I'm not enforcing that because we're still... That will extend the game rather than you just going, I'll switch ships. Got to overshot again. I'm so bad at this. Oh.
Put it back.
And it probably influences the legit way of doing it also.
Yeah. I mean, at some point I will do. I mean, that's something I would enforce before I start to have, a wider playtest or something. But it means that you'll have to schlep your ship back.
No.
Yeah, no more changing ships randomly. I mean, right now you can cheat. If you get out if you press backspace twice, your ship just teleports back to the hangar. So I'm obviously not going to ship the game with that in, but I have kind of made sure there's nothing near the hangar, so you'd never want to do that. I quite like that beep. I like the fact it's beeping at me saying, "Careful." But I will.
Yeah.
I've made it quieter. It's about 50% quieter. I will continue to tweak that.
I was having trouble hearing you over it, so I'm like, yeah, this is actually quite horrible.
Well, I mean, maybe learn to fly. Have you thought about that?
Well, make your ducks bigger.
Well, fly better. So one issue we also have in the UK, our parking space rules haven't changed since about the mid-50s. So when you get a car like, say, the Tesla Model S, which is the same in all territories, it doesn't fit in a UK parking bay. It usually fits left to right, but will hang over the front or the back. So yeah, we genuinely struggle with big vehicles over here. So I don't have any sympathy. Learn to be British.
I'm gonna head off.
No.
So
Oh.
if you know data from me, it's intentional.
No, you've sent me data. That's good. You just being there and doing stuff it's been good. So thank you. And it's always good when I've done stuff. If you don't know what I've done and you try and do it and it doesn't work or it makes no sense. I think continuing to improve the signalling behind the ship damage is going to be an ongoing task. So that's always very helpful. So thank you for that. And yeah, thank you for Bob. We'll hopefully see you again soon. I want to start arranging some bigger playtests. Once every couple of weeks, I'd like to get all of the patrons in with keys and have like a dozen people going. But we, as our little teeny tiny test collective, need to be confident that it works. Like, you know, we should test it. We should do a test on a Friday, but on the Thursday, make sure that there aren't any major derps. Because there have been some major derps today, like, you know, we can't see each other, which is a bit sad, because you do run into each other a lot. I'm pleased about that. Even with a couple of us, you constantly see the other players, and that's super cool. But you should watch the State of Play video. I did all sorts of... I went over everything. I showed you pictures. Right, I've made some money now.
Complained about you didn't put those cameras in.
I have $123. I'm going to fly. Suck it. Carefully, because I have to pay for repairs and fuel. Oh, bugger, the thruster's broke inside the hangar. That yeah. That's one other thing I haven't thought about doing. As this game, I'm trying to make it so there are different ways of playing it, some of which are riskier than others. So that the limo's a bit of a bitch when it's full, but you don't need to fill it up. You can half fill it, so you can fly it around at 50%, which only has half the cargo, but it's a bunch easier to fly.
Oh shit, Choka's left. That means I can get the limo. I gotta reboot. Damn it.
You gotta reboot, why?
It still says he's driving it.
Oh, yeah, I fixed that. No, hold on. No, wait, hold on. It shouldn't do. No.
It said Choka.
That...
I'm not lying.
I'm surprised. For me, it says colony. If you waited a few seconds, it may have... But quitting and coming back in should also do it. I do also want to make the thrusters have an extra noise at full thrust, so it's going to you. It's going. By the way, you are possibly damaging something.
Damaging yourself.
Yeah.
You're giving it the beans.
Yes, which is fine. If you give it the beans briefly, that's cool. It's when you just full throttle it, whiskey throttle from one side of the level to the other, that will cause issues.
Why am I in the ship?
I don't know if you saw, by the way, but somebody said I should mention this on blah, 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 blah Discord, so I did. And the guy is absolutely ecstatic about this game. He's so excited about a Eurotruck simulator in space that doesn't feature piracy and exploration and, alien ship combat. It's just fly a spaceship around deliver cargo.
Let me in the ship. I've hit backspace.
No, if you've hit backspace, you're not in a ship. If you're kicking out the ship, you're not in a ship.
It says current ship.
It's wrong. Press enter again.
Got the cheer. It's the cheerful, chirpy sound. Yeah.
Hold on. That yeah, but that is. So, but look up. What's your state? And I can check as well. That was the bug I fixed earlier. Tad forever state not in a vehicle. You're not in a vehicle. In fact, you're not in a vehicle. Tad is currently off. No, it's Shalka, sorry. Tad forever. Favorite ship, taxi, pondering a new ship. So select a ship, select the space limit and press enter.
Yeah, I'm pushing enter as hard as I can.
Once. You have to press it once.
Cheerful chirpy.
You have to press once. I went over the bug. You have to press it once. Doesn't work. Gets very confused. So you have to rerun the game, get in the ship once. Possibly getting in another ship and back again might fix it.
Oh, I
Yeah.
already closed it.
You've just gone offline. DJ Arcus, status, no cargo for here. That's too long as well. That's one of the hard...
Get cargo for the ATC?
No, DJ Arcus's state is no cargo for here because I'm parked somewhere I don't have cargo for. That's an ongoing issue, is making text short enough to fit in the menu.
Is that a no to ATC cargo? Jesus, that's a big ship.
Which one?
Your freaking Spaceball ship.
Oh, it looks much cooler in VR. You look there going,
I'm sure it does.
what a lovely big ship. Right, hydroponics mining. Okay, I'm going to try and repair my ship some more.
Oh god. There we go.
Yeah, I fixed the bug on the server, but the only way to make it happen is to redo it for everyone.
Oh, it says I'm flying, so backspace. Hey!
Yeah, the worst thing is, I fixed the backspace bug, the old backspace bug, because that was I fixed it and I spent quite a lot of time fixing it. This is a completely different bug. It manifested the same way, but it is actually completely unrelated to the other one, which I did spend so long fixing.
That's not super frustrating.
Well, at least I fixed it. The best thing is I worked it out. Ah, interesting. On this server, apparently I've not done any jury rigging, hardly. But I've lots of mechanical sympathy, which probably explains how I'm managing to fly this completely fucked ship around.
Someone's here.
Quick, let's leave.
Oh no.
I did.
Too late.
I also
Nope, you're
no.
good.
I also fixed the bug where a person who's never been on the server before, it won't call them blank. It should have their name, but I need to find somebody who's not played the game before in order to fix that.
Oh, nice.
Always
None of us.
constantly fixing bugs and introducing them. So there is a bug. That's the other thing. And you know, we had the bug last time we couldn't see each other. I fixed that bug. This is a completely different bug where we can't see each other with literally zero relation to the previous one.
No. See, are there any taxis left? Ah, cool,
Yeah,
let's
so
do
bear in mind, if you get into a vehicle, you can't get out of it at the minute. That's the new bug. So don't try.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No bouncing between vehicles.
No. I think you can bounce between vehicles. You can't get out of the vehicle. That's the bug.
You can't go back to the ATC.
You can't press enter on a vehicle and then press enter again on the same vehicle. But I believe, don't test it, doesn't make it. I believe you can get into one vehicle and then get into another one. The bug occurs when you try and get out of your current vehicle. They said being an indie developer, because someone I chatting with the people fitted the solar, they were like, "Oh, you're living the life." I'm like, I'm living a life. You know, I'm living a dream. I'm not sure if it's the dream, but so one other gameplay mechanic I haven't started on yet, which I'm interested, are the big ships. So there are some ships in the game that are really big, and there is very little chance you'll be able to fly them by yourself, because I'm going to put the center of mass in a bad place. So when you turn, you're not turning around the center of the mass, you're rotating the front of the ship. So that means a tug will have to help you turn around. And also, you won't be able to turn around like the foundry. You'll have to reverse out. So someone's going to have to guide you. So that should be...
That's called a banksman, by the way.
Banks. Oh, I like it. Yes, I've always just called them spotters. But yeah, banksman.
Well, trucks is banksman, but
Yeah, no, good.
I got technical term.
That's good. That's good to know that term, because obviously I will have to put that in. But yeah, banksman. That's a good one. But it might be boring, or it might be really fun. The problem is I don't know how you're going to give the money to the banksman, because if you're flying a huge cargo ship, you're going to make like $20,000 per drop off. How does the banksman get money? How do I say he helped you? Is it that you tag on to a cargo ship, so you're saying I'm helping, and he has to go, yep, he was helping, or don't ever give this man any money, he's awful? I don't know.
Maybe just make the profits big enough to where everyone gets a good cut.
Put it that way, that you obviously you have to use a banksman.
Yeah.
So it's just the person that helps on the way in is number one.
But how do I... Okay, let's just say I'm flying the cargo ship. How do I and I deliver $50,000 worth of stuff. How do I determine who helped?
Is not the computer sort of working it out for you?
Well, yes,
this person pushed you earlier.
Right, well, so for example, keep a list of all of the touches from a tugboat in the last minute, and they get some money.
Yes.
Okay, that's one thing. It's one of those. It's not the implementation. The implementation is easy. It's the codification. What do I want to do? Doing it's fine, and then working out if what I want to do is correct. So we had this in Burnout.
How would you do it in real life? In real life, you would have to ask.
No. In real life, you get
someone to come and help you.
In real life, they get paid to be there, whether or not they're helping someone. But
there's some sort of planned arrival and planned, on Thursday next week you're gonna need to help push this big thing. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but you're probably on a salary. You get paid whether or not you help any lorries in, and when you're not pushing lorries in, you clean the toilets or paint the walls or whatever. It won't be your only job, or your job is a full-time banksman, and you just deal with them as they turn up. But the difference, the thing is with this game, I could do a salary. So if you are in a tugboat, you constantly earn $100 a minute. But then it's in reality, if you're not actually helping, you get fired. So how do I, in a game, say this person's not helping? So you could say, for example, if they don't push a ship for 10 minutes, they are counting as idling. But what happens if I'm following you and you're doing perfectly? You don't need me to push you. Then I'm going to penalise the player for playing it properly. And it's all these difficult questions around game design.
Yeah.
I think you're making it overly complex. Maybe just say, at the time that the delivery is completed, anyone who is in the ship gets that reward.
Yeah. But
that's kind of the way.
But what about
the way Elite Dangerous does it with wing missions? They all get the same reward.
But what do you mean, anyone in the ship? What do you mean?
Well, I'm assuming people who are helping are in the ship, or you were saying people are helping outside the ship in their own.
Yeah, you've not played with the tugboats yet. So this game has tugboats. They push other ships around with little force fields, and there's some missions around doing that. So yeah, think of it like the Collector, but a push rather than a pull.
How about those tugboats belong to the cargo ship as a drone, so they are technically in the ship, but they're running the drones that belong to the cargo ship, which is why they're so freaking expensive.
That's an interesting idea. The other issue you've got, of course, is if, let's just say for sake of argument, that you have played this game for 1,000 hours and you have the biggest, bestest cargo ship in the game, and I'm new. And I'm like, all right, get in that tug, just touch me. Cool, now I'll drop off some cargo. All right, you've just made $10,000. That's not quite...
That's a really nice thing.
Players like that. They like a little boost to cash.
Yeah, but the issue you've got is when you short-circuit away gameplay. Because cash and XP are tied together in quite a lot of ways. So quite often, earning cash also gains you some XP, and vice versa. Mostly, we need to come up with some ideas and some suggestions, and then we need to, even if you suggested it, put on your 13-year-old boy hat and work out how you can abuse your idea. Because that's what 13-year-old boys do on the internet. Well, apart from the obvious. When they're playing computer games, they are looking how they can cheat to their advantage. And thankfully, and I realise part of my phrasing, I have kept in touch with my inner 13-year-old boy, and I'm usually pretty good at working out, oh, right, that's exploitable. I was also...
Are these bigger ships like more of an endgame type of ship that you get, or are they mid-game, or what are they?
I mean... I don't. The current cargo transporter is pretty big, but not huge. Let me just park up with the hydroponics bay a second. I had to say I do like just coasting in when I've got the angle of attack just. Oh, I just smacked on the floor. Never mind. I say got the angle of attack just right. Just coast into your position. Let me get a picture of it up on the channel. Yeah, I've got quite a lot of USB charging stations, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're looking... Actually, I will say, if you're going to buy shit like that, buy it from Anker. Just, if Anker do one, buy the Anker one, because it won't break in 3 days. It will continue to work. Whereas random shit you buy off the internet might work, might not. There you go, one hand. So that is that's the cargo ship. That's the third tier of cargo ship. It's technically in the game, but there's no way to get it. It doesn't turn up for sale or anything. And as you can see, and I don't know if you've been to the foundry yet, it's freaking huge. And there's no way you'll turn it around. So it has to fly in and fly out. And I'll set it up so when it rotates around the centre of mass, which is the middle. But the cockpit is there. So when you rotate, you're going to orbit around the centre of mass. So turning becomes much, much more difficult. Therefore, you should need, hopefully, really interesting and fun, touch wood, squad-based gameplay. I need someone to come and be my banksman. Oh yeah, I've got that. I don't know mine. Bloody hell. I've got that one, Max, but I sure as hell did not pay 78 quid for it. I've got almost exactly the same thing. And but yeah, so my one, the bits between the phones are transparent and light up when it's charging. So you can see which one's charged.
I managed to buy one like that and it broke. I was recently getting another one that had that sort of similar sort of design on it.
Yeah, this one's a lot fancier. This one's got high-speed power delivery. My one's very low-speed charging. It just takes a lot of things because I have a lot of cargo tablets. Cargo tablets? That's one. If you read one screen, I have a lot of Android phones and tablets and stuff. So they're just all going there.
Yeah, I've got a lot of things I need to charge, and it's just annoying me having to keep sort of fitting and swapping around.
Yeah, no, I feel your pain. I mean, to be honest, I think every room in my house has got at least 10 USB ports somewhere. Like, because the thing is, when I've got a couple of friends over and we're all playing games, there's a couple of controllers and a couple of phones, and you've always got something that needs doing, and it's just convenient. What you should do really is upgrade all of your plug sockets so you can get like switchable plug sockets with USB ports in them. That's always quite good, but not always very convenient depending on where you are. Where am I going to?
Yes.
Big D's. Oh man, my frame rate's still atrocious when I'm over here looking that way.
I was looking at Jules' son's solar panels, but I don't know if there's an installer in the UK.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, so bear in mind, almost every solar panel manufacturer don't make solar panels. That's really important to note. They all buy up their photovoltaic film from about 4 different manufacturers. They test them and they package them, but they don't actually make them. So it's a bit like petrol. Like there's only what there is, like 4 different manufacturers of petrol or batteries. You just find that all of or RAM. There's really not very many RAM manufacturers. They just buy it all off each other. So with solar panels, unless you've got something very specific in mind, pretty much they're all the same. And unless you are prepared to wait a long time, you might just have to go with what you can get rather than what you necessarily want. I think brand new panels, because mine are not the cutting edge ones, I think they're 450 watts per panel, which is usually about 2 meters by 1 meter, give or take. But it's mostly the wattage per panel is the fun number, but the issue is that they are making panels bigger and bigger and bigger. So sometimes, as I discovered, you can get panels that just don't fit on your bloody roof. Yeah. Other than that, honestly, having done a bunch of research, they're all the same. They all offer 3.6 kilowatts of inversion. They all offer... It's only if you want something different, like, for example, you want to have off-grid power. Mine doesn't do that. Mine injects power in, but if the grid goes down, my power goes down as well. If you want to go island mode, that's a lot more expensive, but most people don't need to. But other than that, honestly, find an installer who has got a reasonable set of good reviews, and and get them to come around. That's the hard bit. No, my installers. Yeah. The thing is, my installers were fine. That's not the problem. The problem was the surveyor who was hired by them but doesn't work for them. He said, "Yeah, it's fine." And as I said, they had the issue that they went to fit 19 panels because the surveyor said it could fit 19 and they could fit 4. So the bloke was basically, in no uncertain terms, he said, "Fuck off." He said, "Fuck off then, I don't want it. Like I don't want 4 panels, I want 19. Find me someone who makes them." So my panels are JA Solar, and my hybrid, my inverter and my battery are SunSync, which I do like the name. I think SunSync is a very clever name for a solar battery. And they are South African, manufactured in China, but they are South African. So
I got a worker that has no destination.
Yeah, take him anywhere. Ooh.
Oh, really?
Yep.
That's the first one of those we've seen.
Yes.
Yeah, I've not seen one of those. Just says 1X worker.
I see. So are you looking at the hybrid panels that are also a water exchanger from Dual Sun? Question for Max.
Oh, sorry, say again.
Are you looking at the hybrid the hybrid ones with the water pumps in them?
Yeah, I'd like to, but I don't think anyone's going to install them because I've already contacted them directly and they just ignored me. So
you should be able to buy them. Like you can just buy the shit and get someone to install it. Honestly, apart from the fact that you are dealing with grid levels of electricity and it needs to be signed off, everything done to my install was trivial. Like I mean, if you come up before you order it, I'll show you around. Wires come in, plug into this bit. Wires come out, they go down there. It's like, I could have done this. Obviously, I'm not allowed to. I couldn't get it signed off and all of that. But it's not a difficult task for a company. But yeah, those are very, very new ones. So those ones have got water pumps in them. So they pump water around to keep the panels cool. Because cool panels make slightly, and I do mean slightly more power. So when they're saying 3 times more energy, yeah, that's what we call bollocks. Yeah, because they're saying it will make between 5 and 15%. And we actually did this maths a couple of weeks ago in the Future channel, and I believe it was something like you lose 4% if it's 65 degrees C. And it's like, right, well, that ain't gonna happen, is it? And that's compared to 20 degrees. So a 40 degree bump will cause a 4% reduction. But heating the water, that seems like a cool idea, But I'd like to see some actual stats on it, because I love the way they're saying this panel is not subject to the overheating issues of conventional thermal solar panels. Conventional thermal solar panels do not have an overheating issue. You've made an issue up and then said that your hardware is not affected by it, which is, you know, good marketing, but not very what's
genuine.
The word? Yeah.
On your setup, did you get micro inverters on each panel, or do you have one string inverter?
Neither. I've got a hybrid inverter, so I've got 2 MTTPs. Look at me, I know the lingo. So I've got two strings on my my setup.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a hybrid inverter, so it's not a single one, because then I can have one for the front of the house, one for the back. But you sound like you know something about solar. That's good. I'll ask you a question. If you don't know, just say, I don't know. So my problem was the panels they brought were quite physically large, and the front of my house is an annoying shape, but the back of my house is fine. So they put 12 panels on the back of the house and 0 on the front. So I said to them, and I thought I knew what I was talking about, I said, don't worry, just find some smaller, physically smaller panels, which I understand aren't quite as efficient, and tessellate them into my house on the front, you know, tessellate them into the triangles. They went, oh, it doesn't work like that, you can't mix and match panels. And I'm like, what?
Yes, you can.
Like, yeah, because I'm like,
doing 12 volts.
Well,
as long as you get the right voltage, yeah, I mean, it's...
No, I don't even need to do that, because I have 2 unique inputs into the inverter. They could be anything, because the inverter specifically says you can put wind turbines and solar. So I was like, what do you mean it can't? And again, if you have to go out and get the right number of panels to match voltage with the other side, then you have to do that, because you just line them up in series and parallel till it works. I'm like, but they didn't even entertain the option. But I think my solar installer only does 1 panel. I think they just buy them in job lots, so they don't need to think about it. They don't mix and match, they don't do anything. They get a off-the-shelf key turn system that they don't worry about. Or I said, in the nicest possible way, these people were not problem solvers. These people were just blokes out to fit some stuff, as they always do.
I had the same experience when I had a solar guy come to me and pitch an offer for me in the States. He was like, look, we'll do all this. It's a turnkey setup. This is what we'll do. And I'm like, hey, but can you do this setup? I want to do like an east-west setup with this many panels, and I want to do string. And he's like, oh, I have no idea. It was like I threw him the ultimate curveball. He didn't know how to handle it. And I'm like, isn't this your business?
Yeah, well, this is the thing. They were using phrases on the phone to me like, oh, you can't have, you can't have mix and match panels. But I can respond with, but they're on different strings. And it's like, I know what I'm talking about. And it seems like the lady on the phone doesn't. But I wasn't going to argue, because I'm already at this point trying to say to them, I want a lot more money back for what you failed to do than you're prepared to offer me. But I think we may have come to a solution there. But then my next step will be to find another solar company that will install smaller physical size panels, because they tessellate better. As I said, these guys were not problem solvers, and I had to explain the definition of the word tessellate a couple of times before they understood what I was talking about. So I'm like, right, okay. But I said earlier, this gives me the problem that my battery and inverter and the panels at the back of my house are from company A, and the panels on the front of the house from company B. And if anything goes wrong, they will absolutely blame each other. I was like,
right, or they don't want to touch the other one's system because they can't warranty it and all that stuff.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm like,
Here's a question for you.
Yes.
Can I put solar panels on my garage roof? It's flat.
Yes.
And the roof, I don't know how to explain it. I might have to draw a picture.
Well, you could just do what everyone else has done. Just get a picture of your garage roof on Google Earth.
Exactly, yeah.
Food processor. Yeah. The answer is yes. The problem with, you don't generally have solar panels that are flat for one very, very good reason. It's slightly... It's slightly less efficient. That's one thing. And when it rains, it doesn't wash the dirt off. So you want them at a slight angle. But you can just mount them at a slight angle. So whatever, if your roof's completely flat, you would angle them at, I don't know, 15 degrees. Probably whatever latitude we're at, you'd angle them towards the south. Probably by, I don't know what latitude we're at. We should probably know what latitude we're at, shouldn't we? But I don't have any idea. Let's say 7. Or is it longitude? Does anybody know?
What are you talking about? The Earth is flat.
Okay, but we still use latitude and longitude no matter what shape the Earth is. Now, I do like the Earth is flat things. Having been to Australia, like, no flat earther has ever been to Australia. Because you go there, you look up, you're like, the stars are different. So I never look at the stars. I do not gaze at the stars. I do not know what the stars look like. And you go to Australia and you look up, you're like, the sky looks wrong. Like, even with my incredibly limited and vague stargazing knowledge, I look up going, the constellations are completely different. This feels so weird. And I've seen the flat earther explanations for that, and that's when they veer off from mildly or vaguely scientifically plausible to just batshit. Because the most common one is there's a mirror, and you can only see the mirror from certain parts of the Earth, and the mirror distorts the constellations into the ones you see. It's like, well,
mirror. Oh man, I haven't heard that one.
It's like, well, like that doesn't work. But if it was a mirror, you could still find the Big Dipper, or I don't even know constellation names, Ursa Minor. You can find them.
Shine a laser pointer at it then, and see
well, no, because obviously it's millions of miles away, or outside of the dome the stars are stuck on, or something. But it's just, it doesn't work as an explanation. Like, some of them do, forced lenses and this, and the Arctic's this and the other. Like, they kind of vaguely work. But there's no flat Earth model that explains seasons and day-night cycles and gravity and redshift and other planetary movement and, Australia. There just isn't one. But they all have models that solve one of those issues. But the only model where they all work is the heliocentric globe model. I think that's the correct phrase. We're going to get flagged up now with the flat Earth is an ancient hypothesis thing on the YouTube.
Look at what you got him going on about, Ted.
He's having a great time.
Me?
Yes.
I have much passion for many things. Fuck you.
But you're having fun.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Looking into all the theories as well, but they've never been able to explain away, like, okay, now I see southern stars in the southern hemisphere, and now I see northern stars in the northern hemisphere. I always use that one too.
Yes.
Often ones that move around.
Well, the stars don't really move around. Not much. I mean, they're all too far away to move.
I was told Orion was the winter stars. Stars that only saw in winter. I don't know why we said it. I've never heard that before in my life.
I mean, Orion has moved, but not in any sort. It moves on galactic glacial times, like not to the point where we would ever have seen it. You could just go, 100 billion years ago, it was over here.
Every year it would be, you only saw it in the sky in winter, which I was told by someone. Which I think that doesn't sound right.
Yeah, it's cyclical like that by the season.
Only because it's below the horizon though, so it's not moved. We've moved.
Yes.
I mean, it has moved, but it's moved to us. It's because in the northern hemisphere, the sun is opposite the direction relative to Earth, so it happens to just be in the wrong place.
Well, put it back where it's supposed to go.
That's how it works.
Oh.
The thing is, I also refuse anyone to believe Flat Earth who's played Kerbal Space Program. Like play Kerbal Space Program, and it all falls into place very quickly about orbital mechanics and the shape of the Earth and how far away. You're like, yeah, okay, I completely get it now. And as I said before, I do not doubt for one femtosecond that we landed on the moon. I know we did. Until I played Kerbal Space Program, and with all of the help, I'm like, fuck, we landed on the moon. It's nearly impossible. Like, no way. There's no way we land on the moon. No chance. It's way too difficult.
Well, the thing is like the majority of that flight was actually just purely computer controlled. Like the guys weren't giving much manual input at all, and they actually complained about it. They're like, hey, we're like, tough test pilots. We want to actually have our hands on the stick here until like the actual landing part.
I think there's a couple of major differences between the Apollo program and my landing. Actually, there's going to be three. One, they thought about it. 2, they practiced, and 3, they didn't just launch the spaceship into space then go, right, where's the moon? So that was my landing. But
DD
over there.
yeah, as I said before, I cannot recommend Kerbal Space Program as a game, as a toy, as a way to spend time, as a way to learn gravity. Absolutely, 100%. As a game, not so much. But that said, my most satisfying moment in my entire gaming career, except maybe some boss kills in Warcraft, was the time I first landed on the Mun. It was unbelievable. The best thing is I landed, managed to take off by a couple of meters and then land again. When my heart stopped, it's in my mouth and I'm like, oh no, and I did it, and I landed on the Mun, and it took so many hours, 20 hours of trying, knowing it's possible. And yeah, absolutely wonderful. But as a guided game, it's a complete clusterfuck. The best thing is the Xbox version, because you play it on a pad and it's just the same controls, so you're just moving a cursor around. It's awful. And all the reviews are like, 5 stars, I love this game on PC, do not play it on the Xbox. It's like, well, wait, that's not how you review a game.
This is the game that made us say, you need to be able to attach a keyboard and mouse to the Xbox.
I thought you always could.
No, it's only been fairly recently that's been allowed, and very few games have got support
It's
for
always
it.
been very picky about it.
Because it's very easy to start getting serious advantages in games by having keyboard and mouse.
My friend in high school actually did get a janky setup with a keyboard and mouse on an Xbox, like the original Xbox, to play Halo on. But it was not like the same as a PC, but
there are ones, and then you crank the sensitivity of the joystick to maximum and you use a mouse to control a joystick. Yeah, they do exist, and they are supremely unfair. They are the difference is night and day.
Easy master race.
I've seen you fly. I don't think you get to claim that.
Your garage, you've got dual aspect of it, obviously, on it, or whatever it is, but north and south side.
Yes, I do. Well, I'm
looking at Google, and it looks like you've got your. Is that? I can see a Roadster, and then it looks like your car next to it.
I can see on Google Earth. You can see the Smart Roadster, and then the Impreza, and then the Smart Roadster again, because those are two different pictures. That's why the hot Smart Roadster is kind of demolished. So yeah, they're taken on 2 different days. Well done, Tad. Congratulations.
What happened?
Ooh, 13.
Level 13
Nice.
in taxis.
Mine's
Yeah,
got
so
13 on my little doodad for a minute now. Oh dear.
the client tries to guess what the server thinks
taxis.
it. Oh, in taxis, yeah, not
No,
the.
yeah.
Yeah.
5 levels, then 13.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm hoping, Max, that the solar company come back to me with, yep, we can fit 4 panels on that in that space, no problems. That's my hope, because it's south facing. I don't think it ever gets any shade. Maybe in the winter, in like the absolute first part of the
So
morning.
you've got a wall there you could run the power on, haven't you? The power cable.
I mean,
the house
that might be, again, I'm currently looking at a £1,500 rebate. If they will fit that for the same money, which is 4 panels, not 6, and do the electrics, fine. But pretty much you can just run it down into the garage, drill a hole in the garage wall, run it into the garden, run it along, down, under that bit, up the wall, into the inverter. You know, it's going to be a few hours, but none of it's rocket science. I would be very happy with that. Otherwise, I will have to find a solar company who are willing to either put the garage tiles on or the smaller ones on the front roof. But I'm glad, one hand, that you immediately went, that's bollocks, because when she said it to me, I was sort of, but I've done my research, and as far as I know, for the 2 MTTPs in my inverter, you can do whatever you like. Those MTTPs are DC to DC converters that take whatever the fuck you throw at them. I think you might have to set it in the little inverter, but it takes whatever you throw at them and then converts it into the voltage the inverter wants.
Yeah.
And
I mean, usually they'll have like a max voltage on them, and you just have to make sure you don't go over that. But other than that, yeah, it should be fine.
Yes, that's what, because just when it said to me, I was like, you're not even trying. You're not even, oh yeah, you can't do that. And I'm like, I don't.
You guys can't do it. Well, I can do it.
Yeah, if they said we're unable to offer that, however, another company might be able to, then it's fine. Yeah, so the basic upshot is that I was offered 12 panels on the back, north facing, and 6 panels on the front, south facing. And I was under the impression that more or less the 12 panels would provide about the same power as the 6 panels, because one's optimal facing and one is not. And that was the basis of my argument, which is you charge me £10,000 for this many kilowatts of solar, and I've got half of that. And then they came back with, actually, the north-facing array will get 92% of what the south-facing would have got. I'm like, that's actually worse. You're digging yourself into a bigger hole here. But yeah, it's because the shape of my south-facing roof is really stupid. But I don't know if you saw the graph in the Future channel. I don't know if you hang in the Future channel. It's a channel just about green energy and electric cars and things. But until I turned the Tesla on, my energy for today was 100% solar, apart from that bit where it came off the battery. This has not been a sunny day. It is 4 months out from the winter solstice, but it's not. You can spot, if you look at the graph there, at about 1:30, it began to absolutely piss down, and again at 3:10. Absolutely overcast nightmare. So it meant instead of generating 1,500 watts, I was only generating 500 watts. But that's when it just dipped into the battery. So I was like, oh, this is great. Nice. So, and I say on that graph until obviously at 6:30 where I plugged in the Tesla, which is, yeah, that's not going to work.
2 inverters.
I've got 1 inverter but 2 MTTPs.
I'm looking at a website from one of the local people.
You can get multiple inverters, but that's when you need a lot of energy.
Oh, maybe that's going about.
Like, my inverter will deliver 3.6 kilowatts to the house. That's all it can manage. You can get 8 kilowatt ones, or you can double up on the 3.6 kilowatt ones.
Oh, it doesn't show you the right page.
But yeah.
Copy image.
But yeah, that's probably actually just multiple inverters in one box is what they're actually selling you there. As I said, when you boil down to it, it's actually quite boring. You buy solar panels, you buy cables, you buy an inverter and a battery. And yeah, so as far as I can work out, my installation was about $6,000 hardware and $4,000 labor. Because I've looked at how much the bits are worth. Yeah. And obviously a bunch of that would be liability insurance and things like that. But the problem you've got is that individual suppliers tend to go with one manufacturer. They just buy it. So that doesn't necessarily mean it's
to get their
I mean, I would close that web page immediately because first of all it says 2017 prices, then talks about VAT. So close. There's no VAT on them right now, you see.
Oh, I see.
So yeah, either they've not updated your website. Also, they sell emissions with 2 M's.
Oh dear.
I'm still waiting for Tesla to get back to me about getting power walls fitted, and I applied for that about 3 months ago. They're quite behind because they are in massive demand. So apparently, and I'm hoping this happens to me, people with a certain range of batteries in the performance model, which is what I've got, Tesla are ringing them up saying, can we have your battery and we'll give you a brand new one with a new chemistry because we need your battery for the power walls. So Tesla are doing this. They cannot make enough of the Powerwall batteries, but obviously they've shipped like 1 million of them out to customers. So that's I was like, oh, absolutely, you can have a new battery. I'll have a new battery. Totes.
I'm surprised that they were willing to do like a string setup for you. Everyone here in the States now they're all doing microinverters, and I'm like, I don't want that.
As I said, the problem with microinverters is many points of failure, isn't it? And more wiring, but better better once it's done. So mine's a hybrid inverter, so more or less that means I've got 2 inputs, because in the UK you quite often will do north and west wall ceilings. Because the thing, Max, you remember my house, you know where I park my cars? That's the west facing one. Could I not put the solar panels on the side of the house? They didn't even try and offer any solutions. Can you put the solar panels on the side of the house, but you have to put them at a 15-degree angle or something? It was just like, yeah, mate, won't fit. Oh, well, that makes me rather sad that it won't fit. Are you sure?
Yeah, I mean, you could put you could have them stick out a bit. You put a triangular shaped bracket on the wall and have them hang off the wall.
But is that a thing? I don't know. But they didn't even say, oh, we could do that, or we won't be able to do that today, but we can come back and do it. It was just, nope. And in the final email from the solar company, they said, well, we checked with you that you were happy with it. I've just ignored it, because my actual response is they were literally 10 people turned up at my door to get this done in a day flat. And you want me to just go, sorry, lads, yeah, I've changed my mind. You can just all take everything down, you're done, and just fuck off home. Like, that was... I'm a...
That's pressure, isn't it?
Yes, first of all, I'm reasonably meek. Not as weak as I thought I was this morning, having spent the whole day arguing with this company, but mostly I am very British. And to be quite frank, I'm quite surprised I even complained about this at all, because they were not offering me enough. So they said hopefully they'll come back to me on Monday saying absolutely it will fit on the garage, or it won't fit. My response will be, how much won't it fit by? Because if it's 6 inch, because you don't like solar panels
overhang it off the edge.
Well, the solar panels themselves overhang. So you don't mount the solar panels on rails in the corner. The solar panels hang off, 6 inches each side. So if it's like, oh, you're 2 feet short, then I'm like, right, that's fine. I will chat with my neighbour, who I think in exchange for an occasional bit of electricity will absolutely let me use a little bit of his garage. Lee and I get on quite well. Or he won't, obviously. But this is the thing. I've gone back to the solar company with about half a dozen fucking solutions, and they're like, nope. I'm like, but you're not offering me enough of a discount for me to take the system that is genuinely half the input I hoped. But as I said, as of today, I think I made, £3 or something of electricity, and I didn't spend any electricity at all. Like, I didn't use anything from the grid whatsoever. Until when I started to charge the Tesla. But even the first 5 kilowatts of charging the Tesla was from the sun. So I'm quite impressed with that, but I'll keep an eye on it.
It's got to be a good feeling.
Well, the thing is, right now at this particular second in time, I'm yanking 2.5 kilowatts from the grid. But for almost all of the day, I was pulling the minimum, which is about 30 watts. So you have to pull a little bit from the grid, or the grid goes, hello, are you still there? So you have to pull a little bit. But it's a trivial amount. But I was like, oh my God, for the crazy amount of energy generated, I'm saving so much from the grid. It's not just I'm saving myself money. I've just improved the national grid by a little teeny tiny amount. I also mentioned I did look up how much energy solar panels cost to make, and it's a shocking amount. It's 200 kilowatts of energy for a 100-watt panel. And then I did a bit more maths, and if you're on a nice sunny climb, they pay back in 200 days. So it's like, actually, and they last 40 years. So each solar panel can make 72 more solar panels. This is an insane net gain, but it means that my solar panels will, I should probably work it out, at some point I work out when I've gone, I say green when I've done. Incidentally, for people driving limos, the Quick Hop taxi is generating workers for the food processor drop off. So that's a nice short run.
Yep, I just got a couple.
Yeah, I just picked up. Unfortunately, I've got a mining ring Voron guy in where I could take 8, but I don't know how long's left on the timer. But yeah, the important thing to note, Max.
That gallery.
Yeah.
Sorry. That roof, that garage roof.
Yeah, no reason why
It's
not.
flat.
Yeah.
But I could presumably put something across the top of that.
Yeah, so you need to find out the exact size of the roof. You can measure it in Google Earth. It's actually pretty accurate.
Yeah.
and then measure it in Google Earth, and then work out how many 2 meter by 1 meter panels, because you might find it's just an annoying non-tessellating amount. But I was going to say, the real thing about solar is not the solar, it's the battery. So until, I mean, I don't know when good house batteries started 4 years ago, let's say half a decade. They're a new invention, really. But if there's too much sun in the old days, you just lost, the energy went nowhere. And there wasn't enough sun, you start to pull from the grid. But now, when there's too much sun, you fill the battery up a bit. And when there isn't enough sun, you drain the battery a little bit. So solar,
the cash, doesn't it?
solar, yeah, exactly. So solar panels have become enormously more efficient. Not because solar panels have become more efficient, because there's a battery smoothing it out. So unless you decide to do what I do and go off-grid, not off-grid, but like to remain off-grid as long as possible, like a 2 kilowatt battery, that will smooth out all of the bumps. But my goal was, I don't think I'm going to manage it now, was to generate enough solar energy to run off batteries until the morning. So I am 100% solar as much as I possibly can. But given the hoo-ha, I don't think I'll manage that. I might do. I wasn't far off today until I started to charge the
How big a
Tesla.
battery did you get?
Mine's a 5.2 kilowatt hour. It's actually 2.6 is in one box, but it's a 5.2.
Beside the point, yeah.
Yeah. Did I mention the box isn't screwed down?
Yes, you did. Yeah, that was a bit scary.
Yeah.
Come back and bolt back to the wall or something.
No, apparently that's how they are. I was like, I might just push it against the wall, but it's big, it's heavy. There's some chunky ass fucking cables on it as well. This thing is, I don't really want to touch it particularly.
There you go. DJ made it to 14.
What do you have to be for drive a bus?
More than 14?
15,
I
I
think
think.
it's 15.
Yeah, unfortunately, there aren't any. Hold on, have you seen any vehicles get delivered since we started playing? Well, I don't know to have a look. It'll say.
I don't think so.
It next delivery's in 15 minutes. So I haven't noticed that message all evening because I don't read that stuff up there. I need to get rid of some spam. Like some of it needs to become more local spam. But yeah, Matt, it depends. The first thing you should do. Do you know how much energy you use a day?
No.
You should. Do you know what your electricity bill is per month? Because then it's dead easy. Okay. What do you know?
Fuck all.
Okay. I don't know much.
The smart meter probably has all that information. Just grab it off that.
Oh God! I just got round by an AI. Oh my God!
I've gotten sideswiped by one before.
Oh
already.
wow! No, they do actually brake for you, but apparently not very well. Yeah, first thing to do is to work out your energy usage per day, because then you can trivially work out your how much panels you need to cover that, and then you can trivially work out how much battery you need to run you through till the sun comes up again. Because ideally, I assume you want to go to nothing. You're not paying for electricity at all.
Yes.
You're just paying 100.
Yeah.
You're just paying £180 a year for the standing charge.
The problem with that is obviously in summer, yeah, that might be possible. In winter, I'm not sure that it's possible.
Well,
Yeah, obviously the amount of energy generated per day goes up as the sun, as the summer comes along and goes down in the winter. So you want to take the lowest peak, presumably, of that and try.
Yeah, I mean, what you actually want to do, obviously, you want a solar array that will kick you entirely off grid on the shortest day of the year, and that means on the longest day of the year you are uploading energy to the grid all willy-nilly.
Yeah.
Dinosaur Fire Chief, the general rule of thumb is that the panels are certified to have 85% of their original generation in 25 years. Realistically, in 25 years, my solar panels are going to be hilarious ancient junk, and I will be able to replace them with solar panels 3 times as efficient. So I'm not concerned that in 40 years, I mean, I'll be dead in 40 years. I'll be 87 in 40 years. And I'm assuming everybody will have a pocket-sized fusion generator. Then hopefully. Oh, I don't know if I can push this AI ship around. I might not be able to. But yeah, work out what either your monthly or daily or yearly energy bill is. And
yep.
I from that I can quickly tell you what you'll need because I've obviously done this now.
Okay.
The thing is,
well,
when I had the surveyor over, because I said to him I use 28 kilowatts a day, he goes, oh, and I'm like, plus the Tesla, and he's like, oh, that is a lot. So I'm like, yes, I know it's a lot. That's my bill is so high. I think its AI ship is completely stuck. Yes, it is. But you have kids and I don't.
Yeah.
But you only have one person work from home, so that will probably help.
Yes.
Whereas I'm pulling. I mean, obviously,
Do you use an oven very much?
Yeah, sometimes a bit. Bear in mind, my inverter can only do 3.6 kilowatt. I might struggle to actually supply the house with an oven. Like, that's the bit where it might start pulling off the grid again, but it will do, you know, the lion's share of it.
Yeah.
But no, I don't use an oven that much. We do use the oven a bit, but mostly not. Mostly our cooking is gas. Yeah, Dinosaur Fire Chief. Bear in mind, you will see a lot of fun about this shit. So one of the ones I keep hearing is fast charging will damage your batteries. And the response is very simple, which is that's not true. Getting your batteries hot damages them. And the original Nissan Leafs, which came out in 2014, had an issue with this. This hasn't been an issue since I don't know how long. So same thing with solar panels. They used to last 10 or 15 years, or at least they were warranted to last 10 or 15 years. And then people were saying, well, we've had these for 25 years and they're fine. Because obviously it's very difficult to say today how long that panel will last, because obviously we haven't had them for 40 years. So some of it is a little bit of guesswork, but modern panels are very light, very recyclable, that should be pointed out. And even at the end of 40 years, if they've still got 80%, like, that's still really good. And I'm expecting in 5 or 10 or 15 years time there'll be a breakthrough technology of some fancy pants new solar panel technology, and then I will order the fancy pants new solar panels, and when they arrive I'll get the old panels taken off my roof, and I will probably be able to sell them the same day because there will be a queue for solar panels, and I can sit in the queue for solar panels with having solar panels. So I have no doubt I will be able to flog them on for whatever, a quarter of what I paid for them. You know, there is a second-hand market for slightly used solar panels. There's also a massive market in recycling them, because I keep seeing people you say you can't recycle them, and I'm like, you're telling me you can't recycle glass and iron? What are you talking about? Like, solar panels are mostly glass, a little bit of phosphorus, a little bit of aluminium, a little bit of iron, and a little bit of copper. And I was like, I don't know about the boron and the phosphorus, but you can definitely recycle about 99.9% of the
New ones have a little bit of silver in them too.
Ooh, that's recyclable too.
Oh yeah, and that's going to be what pushes America to start recycling them better.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
they finally get the extraction system right.
Well,
it's pretty toxic right now.
They do recycle them because it's funny. My favourite anti-EV, anti-electric thing is a wonderful bit of cognitive dissonance. So as we all know, EV batteries, as we all know, obviously they catch fire a lot, we all know that, but they don't last very long. They only last 2 or 3 years. So you have to keep replacing them. And they're really expensive. And at the same time, these same people also say to you that all of the batteries go to landfill. I'm like, right, so they're really, really expensive and full of loads of really expensive materials, and they go to landfill. Like think about what you're saying, and bear in mind, people recycle catalytic converters. You can get about, whatever it is, £3 worth of platinum out of it.
Yeah.
And even a completely knackered battery, a knackered car battery, is worth thousands and thousands. Like, the materials in it are worth thousands that can be recycled.
Hang on.
Yep.
Lunar Limos is making passengers for Alpha.
Oh man, I got 6
Or Gang
spots.
Alpha.
Oh, that's well
I do
spotted.
too.
Proper hacks.
So, OVO tells me I'm using 45.41 kilowatts for a week.
Okay, so divide by 7.
I'm just taking some out. I'm going to have to do some more averages here. Yeah.
And that gives you your kilowatt hours per day.
You go with 45 divided by 7.
Good spot, by the way, Tad. Thank you.
6.4.
So you're pulling 6.4 kilowatt hours per day.
Yeah.
That's very little. So yeah, you'll need. You need like. Not even. Hold on. So the good assumption, because it's easy maths, is 10 hours of sunlight a day. That's the easy maths. So if you've got a 2 kilowatt array, you're going to make on a nice sunny day 20 kilowatt hours. So that's only a small array. So you actually don't use that much electricity. You might use a lot of gas.
These are foundry workers.
So you will be able to make that quite quickly. You'll be able to fill up quite quickly, and you only need like a 2 kilowatt hour battery. So probably a 2 and 2 system will do you fine. And that's only about $3 or $4 grand.
If I can fill the space up.
Oh yeah, because anything surplus of that you do sell to the grid. Now, it is a pittance, but that is likely to start changing.
Yes, but the trouble is you don't get tied into anything that locks you into that pittance, because
no, you are
that are locked into the older system are laughing.
Oh yeah, but that's never coming back. The 5.5 legally mandated minimum is here to stay.
Yes. I think I would have to change over to Octopus Energy and go with them.
5.5 what? What's happening?
Pence.
So we buy power from the grid at almost 10 times as much as we sell energy to the grid.
Rude.
Yeah. Fuck you, Ted. You were so wrong. I've just got shit for everywhere.
I did too. Your messages are shit.
No, because bear in mind, just because it's generating workers for that location, if the dock is full...
Yeah. We're shuffling through all the crap that was there beforehand. Damn it.
But yeah, you're quite right, Max. The best thing to do is to fill up, get as much solar as you can. There's no reason not to. And even at 5 pence per kilowatt, you're paying that back in 5 to 10 years. It's definitely good. Also, you could just run your aircon. You don't need to go, oh, do I need it? It's quite expensive. You just run it because it's free. Eventually, whether it's tomorrow, a year, 5 years, 10 years, you're going to get an electric car. You're not going to be on diesel cars for the rest of your life. You're laughing at that point because you've already got the stuff there. You can sell it to the grid. You can sort out air source heat pumps to the house. There's lots of advantages.
The air source heat pumps are just a bit too big right now.
Yes. So bear in mind, your aircon is an air source heat pump, but you're talking about to heat the water for your house. Those ones. Is that what you mean, Max?
Yes.
Yeah. So I would also like to point
hot water and the heating.
Yeah. So I'd like to point out, I've seen a lot of people, and they tend to be, as far as I can tell, people who install traditional boilers complaining about this. Going, oh, it can't get up to the same temperature, doesn't do that. I'm like, okay, all right, sure, it doesn't get up to the same temperature. Let's not disagree on that. So why don't you just turn them on a couple of hours earlier? Given that it's free and it's running off your house battery or solar. So you boot up your central heating system 3 hours earlier or 5 hours earlier. It doesn't matter. It's not you're not paying for the electricity. Unless your house is unless your house is so poorly insulated that the radiators on a heat pump flat out it's losing energy, in which case, why the fuck are you installing heat pumps instead of double glazing and insulation? Like that's your way. That's your way to go.
Britain, yeah.
Well, yes, absolutely.
That's was it. One of his horrifying statistics: 60% of all energy is wasted.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, bear in mind, if you could show me a petrol car that only wasted 60% efficiency, you and I can make $1 trillion off that engine, because that's not even close. It's
that's something I've been wondering about recently with all the stuff going on about cars. I'm thinking you're never going to get cars. You're not going to get rid of them very quickly. They're going to be around for a long time. The petrol and the diesel cars. Now, petrol, you've got AdBlue, which I think
diesel.
Is only for the older, or for the newer diesels.
Yeah.
But what about petrol? Surely there must be some sort of chemical you can throw down the exhaust to either.
That's what the catalytic converters do.
Yeah, that's what the cat does.
Well, something you can bind the carbon to make the carbon go into a solid rather than be a liquid gas.
Yeah, there are a bunch.
Bind it into something that's more easily sort of captured. Yeah. Some way of making it capturable, like dump it on the road and let the street sweeper clean it up.
There have been plenty of research in this area. Like lots and lots of research in this area, and I know exactly what you mean, but there's no commercial systems. They're all massively expensive, all require constant chemicals. The thing is, I know where you're coming from. I know what you're suggesting, but the thing is, we have a solution. It's called electric cars. We've already got the solution, and it means that, bear in mind, it means we're not digging up the oil. So I remember the number now. If you take into account the energy required to extract the oil, transport the oil, refine the oil, and all of that, you're looking at something insane like 20 kilowatt hours per gallon. They don't like talking about this number because you don't see it, but that goes into the price of the thing. And I did do the maths, and I'm probably out by an order of magnitude, but if every person in the US went across to an electric car, I worked out how much energy all the refineries in the US use, very roughly. And you could give every single person in the US 10,000 miles a year in their car and have saved electricity on the grid compared to the refining of the fuel. And that does not take into account the transporting the fuel. That's purely refining. So yeah, we want to get away from it as quickly as possible, even if there's a way around it. And as I've said before, I reckon by 2035, that's my ballpark, I reckon you'll start seeing petrol stations close constantly, like everywhere. They'll just go down and down and down. You'll get one pump because it won't be worth... The only reason petrol stations are everywhere is they make a lot of money and there's a lot of people with cars. As they start to disappear... I mean, think about where petrol stations are. They are prime real estate. But when... Yeah,
and they're in stupid places like the edge of town or...
they're everywhere.
Where you want to be,
Yeah, they're absolutely everywhere. But when not very many people are using them, at that point, you'll just remove them.
You put them at shopping centres, you put them at restaurants, you put them at...
Yeah.
Places where you want to stop for a bit more time.
Yeah, no, what I mean,
come and look around our shops,
Yeah, well, I'm talking about current petrol stations. They'll start to disappear and they'll get converted into EV charging stations, fast chargers, because that's what makes the money. BP have already said, no, is it Shell? That's Shell. No, it's BP Pulse. Yeah, they've already said that right now, today, if they make a busy EV charging station, it's making them more money per square foot than the petrol station.
Because it's just a car's space, I suppose.
Yeah, it's a car space. But you can also, people tend to go into the shop, buy a coffee, do whatever. But they said the break-even point has already happened, and it's just going to continue. So they converted a station, I think it was in London, they converted one of the busier petrol stations to EVs as an experiment, and it's just jammed. It's just jammed the whole time. It's constantly full. They are churning out as much electricity as they can. And, there you go, Tad.
I should look at those statistics and work them up tomorrow.
Yes, yeah. Looks like it'll be trivial. My one is big.
Yeah.
The hyper limo police.
And a garbage called garbage.
Quick hop taxis for Alpha. That's not awful. But we did get a lot of Alpha into limo because we took all this other crap out of there.
Yes, I'm still refueling.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. I was like, oh boy.
I really like this game. I like sitting in my spaceship watching graphs going up. And bear in mind, I spent half my day watching graphs go up and down on my solar panel. So
easily pleased.
Yeah, well,
you gotta be a little careful with that. What was it? My sister rented a Jeep and it had the live mile per gallon and.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very distracting while you're driving.
Yeah, I've done that.
Watch it.
I've done that. No. Are you telling me you've never gone, I want to get it up to 999, and your code's going, come on. Yeah, but sometimes they go, nope, and they just hide it. But then you're like, how low can I get it? Just so you go, on that note about distracting things in cars, the Mini Cooper SE, it's got achievements in the car.
Nice.
And you can hook it up to your Facebook, and it's things like drive more than 50 miles without stopping, do a 0 to 60 in under 10 seconds, keep your fuel efficiency above 50 miles a gallon for an hour. There's a whole... I'm like, I understand what you're gamifying, but holy shit, no, don't do that. Do no, do not.
Angar.
Yeah.
I could just drive down the road and get all of those.
But yeah, they did a bunch of them. Anyway, I'm probably not around tomorrow, but I will see you very soon.
Okay. Two Pipski.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, so I really like this game, and I think the trick is going to be finding other people. Like, I fully appreciate you testing. I hope you're at least somewhat enjoying it, but I find getting up to speed and then just coasting forwards and looking around at the world, I like that. I like that in No Man's Sky. My annoyance was when the artificial warping to planets, but I like the travelling. And I don't know how long before you're like, oh, I'm bored of going from A to B to C, but...
I did take a nap halfway through this stream. I'm not gonna lie. I just kind of nodded off for a. I just backed out to the ATC and just kind of sat with my head to the side for a minute.
Are you still worn out from your holiday?
A little bit.
Aww.
And I've got freaking guard this weekend, so I'm super gonna have a good time.
So you're gonna do what the weekend?
RVing.
RVing.
That was a fun.
Oh.
Army-ing.
Oh, army-ing. Okay.
That was a fun message to get as soon as I sat down after I got done with my vacation. I was like, damn it. All right.
Wow. Following US politics at the minute. I mean, not that our politics isn't fucking insane, but yeah, I've been following US politics, the whole Trump thing, half the country thinking, because I was supposed to go on that podcast. So I am going on it. They've chatted with me. I'm going on a right-wing, very, very right-wing podcast where the last episode is FBI, fake Biden investigators. We all know there's no way that Trump had those documents, and if he did, he was allowed to. I'm like, oh my God. But they're very anti-EV, anti-solar, very, very pro. And I'm like, oh, I can't fucking wait to just... Because he's like, we were arguing on the internet, and he's just, eventually said, look, come on my podcast and say this shit. I'm like, you don't know who I am, do you? I will absolutely come on your fucking podcast, and I know my facts. Hence why I know off the top of my head that a 100-watt solar panel, which when I said solar panels use up a horrifying amount of electricity, I'm not joking. A 200 kilowatt hours for a 100-watt panel is terrifying. And then you work out that will make it back, assuming 10 hours of sun in 200 days. Like, oh shit, that's... Then you go, holy shit, solar panels make a lot of energy, which I've now realised myself.
Yes.
But yeah,
they're pretty nice.
I know.
Our county keeps making, our county's, I think it's making its second solar array.
Yeah.
So that looks pretty cool.
Yeah, no, the thing is, I know all of the talking points that the oil shills use, and I know that most of them aren't true. And the problem I found with people, sometimes they go, oh yeah, but you can't read everything you read on the internet. And it's like, dude, you obviously believe some of the stuff you read on the internet. Because someone says, of course, electric cars depreciate so quickly because nobody wants them. And I was like, dude, the least depreciating car in the world is the Tesla Model 3. He said, oh, that's not true. And I'm like, all right, what is the most depreciating car in the world then? Like, you can't just say that's not true. You have to come back with, and you're like, usually the answer is, well, silence or I don't know. But I just basically linked him to an Auto Trader article. And so Auto Trader they're like, oh shit.
I'm surprised you have Auto Trader as well.
Oh, you have Auto Trader. Brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So Auto Trader is huge. And bear in mind, Auto Trader, they're not left wing, they're not right wing, they're not pro diesel.
They're selling cars.
They sell all they care about is I'm in the wrong doc. All they care about is selling cars.
Having the right documentation. Yeah, that's it.
So they basically
just the 6.0 liter engine or the 4.0. That's what they care about.
So what they also care about as they sell second-hand cars, they care about depreciation. And they just basically did a graph just saying, here are petrol, diesel and electric cars over 5 years of ownership. Here's the depreciation graph. And EVs aren't even close. And then he's like, you can't believe this stuff you read on the internet. It's all bullshit and made up. And I was like, dude, this is Auto Trader. Like, then it's like, what are you saying? Are you saying, and I said to him, are you telling me you have done a multi-year, multi-million car investigation program to look at the resale value of cars? Or, more likely, you don't like electric cars, so therefore you don't want it to be true. Like, which one of these is more likely? But I was like, dude, are you accusing there a conspiracy theory and Auto Trader were involved? What the fuck?
Where are we talking here? What the hell just happened to my main thruster?
Broke it.
Holy shit. No, it's gone.
Yeah, so this is what I said. There is a lot of this game. There is a lot of just flying from A to B and coasting. And I don't do it, and I know you don't do it. You don't glance down going, I should probably fix my blah, 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 blah first.
Well, I just fixed it, and now it's broken. I'm like, what did I just do?
When you say you just fixed it, you probably fixed it an hour ago, didn't you?
No, I just flew through the repair dock because I needed to drop somebody off there. Oh, I gotta limp back.
I mean, that might be a bug, of course. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be able to damage the car quickly.
I zoomed it pretty hard, but not that hard, so I'm not sure what that's about. No, I'll just float on back. I do like how you made it so that when you turn, or whichever way you face the forward with the spacecraft, it sends your momentum in that direction rather than just you're pointing and the momentum's taking you in a completely different direction.
So say it again.
Okay. Two different kinds of momentum, or where you're facing and where the ship is actually going. Your RCS thrusters get you into the direction you're actually
Oh yeah, so you turn
very satisfactorily.
Yes, so you're basically drifting or anti-drifting.
Yes.
Yes. Let me see if I can describe that. So I will in a moment I'll do a left-hand turn, which means that the ship relative to how I'm oh fuck, that's a wall. Maybe I should put those headlights back in for the player ship.
There are a couple dark corners in this map.
Yeah, I mostly I've been trying to light the dark corners. Holy moly, that was I'm still recovering from that crash.
Been around a lot if you crash, right?
Yeah, I don't know why. There's no code to make it like particularly bouncy. Anyway, so here I am. I'm cornering. I've cornered to the left, and then I'm also sidestepping. So I'm cornering to the left and sidestepping to the left to keep my velocity, my ship's heading and velocity in sync. And you're right. It's really satisfying because you're like, it's like drifting, isn't it? Like I turn to the left, my ship's veering to the right. See the purple line going to the right, so therefore I will offset it. And in some of the ships, the RCS is really quite powerful, like the bus. So it really helps the way it goes again. Driving with the parking brake on, it will definitely hurt the cooling. I don't think it hurts the main thrusters. I don't think I've got the
cooling matrix has a nick on it, but it's not.
Yeah, I think I might need to crank that up.
I don't think I was driving with my parking brake.
I don't think that will break
that next time.
I'm pretty sure that only breaks the
cooling matrix.
Yeah. Going above the speed breaks the thing. But I'm a funny thing. I might need to reset my stats because I've now got 245% in fuel efficiency. I've already toned it down. I did have 400%, and I was like, either one of three things: either there's a bug and it doesn't work, or it's nowhere near enough, or people who don't have my level are having a really bad time, because I had 400% fuel efficiency and I felt I was spending an awful lot of time refueling. I'm like, Right, I am going to need to skedaddle though, because I do have stuff, and I got up very early this morning to go and celebrate World EV Day, and then I got there and then they messaged the group going, oh, it's been shut down because of the Queen's death. And I was like, oh, right, well, brilliant. Maybe I should have checked my Facebook before I left, not afterwards.
To go drive around a little.
Yeah, I guess so. It's only down the motorway, unfortunately. Unfortunately, English. Unfortunately, that's why I had to cane my house battery to top up my Tesla. I'm going to try and only charge my Tesla from solar. So I'm like, oh, it's solar, there's battery. Click the little button. Whereas right now I've been hammering. I mean, this is the thing. I've never had a way of monitoring the power usage before. But yeah, I'm like, oh shit, that's using a lot of electricity. Like, that's using a lot of electricity.
We have 4 computers and 2 laptops in the house. I would like to see how much those eat, but
I mean, probably realistically, 200 or 300 watts a piece. Like realistically, my PC pulls like it's 500 watts under load, but you have to try and put it under load. It doesn't really happen under, I'll say, normal circumstances.
like Fortress Craft.
Even that's not. It's not hammering the GPU and the CPU. It's doing a good job.
No.
But it's not. Let me just.
It does do a good job.
I've got to wait for the solar system only uploads its data every few minutes. I'm just waiting for the next one because I've just cranked the Tesla up to full whack. Just waiting for it to register. So it was at 2000. I have a funny feeling, by the way, because I've just stopped running the game and I can spot that. It was pulling 2,700 watts. Now it's pulling 2,300 watts. So it's pulling about 400 watts less because I'm not hammering my GPU, which does obviously pull.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. I mean, my PC under absolute full chat, which realistically I just need to be running Furmark. It's about 700 watts, but that doesn't really happen. You'd have to be running like Bitcoin mining and a graphics demo. It's just not a real sort of issue. There we go. A few seconds ago, I'm now pulling 4,000 watts, and if I run, actually, let's just run the game again. I will also make a build.
The hydroponics.
Well, I've also now I can monitor the power usage of my house. I can see when I'm doing a light bake. It's a couple of hours of running the GPU flat out. So that's why, I mean, I have partially been maybe I should, but I'm like, actually guys, I might, not like please support me more, but for the non-patrons going, don't think you understand. And I haven't until recently how expensive running this many computers is. Quick Hop Taxis, by the way, has 16 workers for one place and 16 for another.
Ooh.
Do you ever actually go to the ATC and look at the readouts or not?
Not usually, no.
Because they're there and they're quite interesting. But I'm like, yeah, I don't bother reading those. I probably should.
A lot of cool information there. I don't like the layout of the screens. I mean, it's probably great for VR, but for Pancake, it's kind of like, oh goodness.
Yeah, I need to rearrange this.
I gotta squint to look at the back end over there. And
yeah, I was just looking at it now, thinking I should probably just rearrange it. But the problem I've got is I need to make everything work on keyboard and mouse and the pad and on VR. So that's why. And
whenever the HOTAS happens.
Well, that should mostly be, I recommend you set your... So hopefully using Steam, I don't need to do the HOTAS. Have you got HOTAS?
No.
No, right. So if anyone has a HOTAS,
Shoka does.
I will give you a copy of this game if, in exchange, you set me up a Steam profile. Because you can do this in Steam. You can set up custom game profiles per game and just say...
Or we can wait for his man to unpack.
This maps this, this maps this, this maps this. So it's easy. You just enable Steam inputs and then you twiddle the controller settings for this game. And you say this button does this button does this. Like, it's easy. I'm not doing it because it's a bit more... honestly, so... I mean, you don't... So, how can I put it? So, you've got the cockpit here, and it's all right. There's nothing wrong with it. It's pretty good. In VR, and also note that I have done VR since day one. I have been into VR since... Oh, God, let me look it up. Let me make sure. I have been into VR since March 29th, 2013. So 9 years I've been doing VR, okay? There is no honeymoon period. There is no, this is great new tech, I can't believe it. When I got back into this cockpit quite recently in VR, I just sort of went, oh, because you can see everything. You glance around, you don't keep, you glance there, you glance here. It's so awesome. It's so good. Games that are even slightly impressive in 2D, in VR will fucking blow you away. And I cannot describe to you how much and how good, and that's broken, how good they are. It is almost impossible to describe how good VR is. And I have shown VR stuff at lots of events, and unfortunately, the conversation always goes the same way. Oh my god, I love that. I want that. How much is it? Oh. Okay, what computer do you need to run it? Oh. Almost without exception, that is the conversation. No one has gotten into VR and gone, oh yeah. So I suppose everyone's gone,
A question.
oh my god. Yes.
The new, with Windows 11 and being so persnickety about the hardware you have, would that mean that all Windows 11 computers can run VR adequately?
The best way to describe it is if you can run a game at maximum detail at 144 frames a second all the time at 4K, you can probably run it at medium detail in VR. VR is such a jump up, but this game does about 140 frames a second on my 960, 970. So I've been targeting it for low. VR is still a struggle at my 3080. So yes and no. It depends on the game. I'm obviously fighting this very, very hard to continue with performance, but it is a tricksy problem. And it's one of those that I could do performance full time on this for a year. Anyway, I just wanted to see how much power we were drawing. Dinosaur Fighter, just forget, what did you try in VR? Because as a rule, racing isn't too bad in VR because you're kind of used to cars' movements. I am absolutely at the sensitive end of motion sickness, but in car racing games, I'm okay, I can do them. Car racing games, whilst on my motion platform, zero VR sickness. I have solved VR sickness. It just involves paying about £1,000 for a motion platform. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pulling just over 4,000 watts now.
I wonder how much your motion platform costs in power.
That's very interesting. So my motion platform has to run off 2 separate 13 amp circuits because now that's 13 amps at 240 because briefly, and we are talking very briefly, it can pull about 2.8 kilowatts, but we are talking for, I don't know, a tenth of a second, a quarter of a second. So it's not a lot of energy, but it's a lot of power. So if all 6 motors move simultaneously, it can pop the fuse. So I've had to plug them into 2 separate things. So they've got 2 separate fuses. Yeah, I mean, Dinosaur Fire Chief, the other thing to note is, and this is a personal feeling, and I have no scientific evidence to back this up, unless you are a motorbiker, and the reason I say this is I believe that motorbiking, a lot of it is about balance, and I believe, and again, I have no scientific knowledge to back this up, I believe that being in VR for too long can disengage the link between your eyes and your balance, because fundamentally, should be obvious why. So unless you really need your balance for, and I mean you're a gymnast or possibly a motorbicyclist, again, this is purely conjecture, but apart from that one possible, probably not real issue, you could build up a tolerance to VR sickness. And the trick is, the moment you start beginning to feel sick, just stop. Come back tomorrow, play it for 1 minute on day 1, then 90 seconds on day 2, then 3 minutes on day 3, and after a week or 2 weeks or a month or 6 months, however long, you will have no problems at all. I dread to think what's going to happen when I get back. I haven't been in VR in ages. I haven't been on the motion rig in ages, like weeks. So I guarantee when I get back on, I'll be like, So you can build up a tolerance to it. I personally think there may be issues long-term with it messing around with your balance. But as I said, I have never, ever seen any scientific evidence to back that up. It's just that I feel that might be a thing. So yeah, you do get accustomed, but don't work through it. Do not work through it. If you cannot overcome VR sickness by manning up, it is not a thing. If you try, you will feel sick. You will start to feel tired. You will be sick. and eventually you will pass out. Do not try and push through it. Just go, oh no, that's it for me. Stop. Don't try and push through it. And that's the worst thing you can do. I know one lady, when we got VR headsets at work, she pushed through it and she got really ill, like properly, oh, you look terrible ill. And she had to get a taxi home because she couldn't drive, and she was too ill to work the next day. So don't do it. Do not go, oh, I'm going to show everyone. Just go, right, that's it, stop. Come back. Malcolm's at Psy, he's quite into his VR. But he's like, oh, try this, try that. And I look at demos of games going, I'm not even going to run it. I don't want to feel sick. So, yes, absolutely, I do. I mean, honestly, this game's going to be great in VR. It's not going to be as good as No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky in VR, I have sat in my living room. Just sat down on the ground. I've got like a soft mat for doing VR stuff. I just sat there on a hill in VR, in the living room in reality, and just watched the sun set on an alien landscape. And it looks like a sun setting in the landscape. It no longer looks like a computer game. You're there. It is unbelievable. Elite in VR is absolutely excellent. Euro Truck Simulator, again, brilliant. There are so many great games that also have VR support. Apart from the expense, the fact that all the VR headsets have got massive drawbacks, each headset has a different drawback, and that you need a hell of a PC to run it and quite a lot of area, and as Max pointed, there's a constant battle of this doesn't work, that doesn't work. Even with all those things, it's still the absolute best thing ever, and I genuinely cannot recommend it enough. So yeah, get VR, play AstroTrucks, tell your friends. And on that note, I shall head to bed. So I shall close the server down by pressing escape. Yep. And I will see you possibly Sunday. We'll see. But yeah, I almost definitely won't be around tomorrow night. Put all my computers to sleep now and see what my power goes down by. Thank you. As I said, I will try and arrange a larger playtest maybe middle of next week. So I will make sure the game works Tuesday night and arrange a larger test Wednesday next. I'd like to try 5 or 6 people or 10 people. The only drawback is I need to really implement colony purchase mode because there aren't enough ships. Yeah. Because there just aren't enough ships for people to play. So again, that's a gameplay issue I haven't thought about. What happens if a clan of 30 people buy the game going, what are we supposed to do? So maybe I need to implement, borrowing some money. I will also slightly reduce
on
let me just do it now.
On connection, spawn a ship for them. Spawn a taxi. Yeah, it's gonna clog up the selection bar, but it is a workaround.
Now hold on, that's actually not the worst idea. No, so hold on. Just before I go, then let me just think that through. I'm just going to very quickly reduce the amount of damage that ships will start with. There we go. Generate pre-owned ship somewhere between 10,000. So ships will start off possibly less damaged. The problem you've got with that is right now what happens is every hour, as we know, the colony ensures it has enough ships. So what it does is it counts up all the colony ships that aren't being all the colony ships that aren't being flown, and then it tries to sell up to 8 ships, and then it buys up to 8 ships. So it always tries to keep you on an even keel. But if you had a whole bunch of taxis, it wouldn't be able to import any more ships.
Oh dear.
Right, I was going to say that's a good idea because what would happen is, you see, is when the hour server ticked around, it will sell a bunch of those taxis off. So actually, that probably would work. Or I just need to do something. Actually, maybe I'll make a comment. A thought is on repurchase in. Oh no, because they're just for sale. Yeah, I don't know. So I don't want to clog the server up with, you know, you don't
Unless you
want
have
30
two
taxis.
separate lists. Yeah.
Yeah. I might maybe something. It's almost like a loaner of a loaner.
Yeah.
I can't think of a good solution that doesn't end up just with 30 taxis lying around that nobody wants. Or it might be if somebody logs on and there's no colony ship they can fly, it generates a taxi. And that taxi is a third state, which is it's colony owned ship, but it's a temporary one. Though you might, it's only going to be an issue at the beginning of the colony's game, isn't it? It's not going to be an issue even after a few hours, because you'll be able to go, oh, you've joined colony, I'll buy you a taxi. You know, the colony can buy you a taxi. So hold on. So the thought is, if a player joins and there are no colony or personal ships for them, quickly generate a colony temp taxi that will be sold at the next tick. Yeah, that is a temporary solution, because otherwise you'll have the issue that either 30 people, a big clan bundle on 30 people bundle onto a server, and either there's no ships for most of them, or suddenly there's 30 taxis. So I'll have to. I am actually going to implement a filter, so you'll be able to filter all ships, my ships, colony ships, for sale ships. So I don't know if you've noticed in the bottom left, there's 4 options, and the 4th one's not used. Cool. Right, I'm off to bed then. I will see you guys possibly Sunday. If not, I reckon Tuesday and Wednesday we'll do 2 play tests back to back, a little one, and I'll do an at everyone going. I'd really like anyone with the game to come along and just add some massive data. See if we can't break it.
All right.
This is the bit where I go quiet before I stop the stream.